Hey, everybody, it's the Bennington Show. Starting off with, Gail, what do you call this? Double shot movie spot?
Double duty.
Yeah.
Songs that did double duty in iconic movie moments.
All right, so all week long, you had to either have big part of two different movies. It's double duty, which is like when you and your buddy go to the bathroom at the same time.
Yeah,
okay?
And you have a double duty together.
Double duty, and fucking try to low five underneath the stall.
Do that all the time.
All right, I know Cable Guy, right?
Yes.
Big part of Cable Guy. Trying to think of another movie.
You don't remember that, Chris?
I remember Cable Guy, but Fear and Loathing?
I was going to say Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas also.
Oh, perfect. Then you guys got it.
Right, what did you have?
No, that's it. That's
those
exactly
were the-
it.
all right, okay.
But Chris was going like this, and I thought you didn't remember that scene because it's like one of the biggest moments in the movie.
You can't look at him during the
I know,
show. If you
you're right.
notice, I never make eye contact with him.
I know, you're right. That's what I need to start doing. But he had a look like he had a confusion in his brain. Like
Well,
his brain was telling him.
His brain told him to look confused.
I'm going to start doing the show in a hood so no one has to look at me.
What's your stupid hat?
The hat says, make Astoria great again. And there's a picture of what's supposed to be me on it as well.
I thought it was Zach Galifianakis.
It is
It's supposed to be me.
But it is Zach Galifianakis.
I think it looks a lot like
Let
me.
me just say it.
There you go. Make a Story great again, 2016, to be totally...
Okay.
Oh, come on, no! I'm throwing it out!
Into the trash we go with that.
It's a fucking cool hat.
By the way, sweat pit stains today. Just
Yeah,
sweat it
they're
up.
brutal today.
I was watching you coming in with the cab and with the Double Dan man.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I saw people were being cruel to him, but we got to have a talk with him because if Chris told him to go get some butter rolls and Red Bull, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes like this. And where do I procure them? I'm like, what are you fucking doing, dude? Why are you going to, you know what I mean? Why do a nerd alert on yourself?
He's a walking nerd alert.
I got pissed.
That's
You
his
saw?
thing.
I mean, there's one place I get my buttered rolls. In my
That's
breakfast.
not what he's
That's not
saying,
what I'm
yeah.
talking about. Tell your brain. But I mean, he's using a nerd word that just makes you look like you're fresh to this planet. You don't really understand the way people talk.
Yeah, he's talking like somebody's trying to get punched on the schoolyard.
Exactly. He's talking like a kid who writes down talkers' names when the teacher goes out. She's the only one that he trusts.
I've written down all these talkers for
And
you.
that's the kid you always go like this. You put my fucking name on there and you're fucking dead. Look at me. I'll fucking kill your whole family. Like, we're in third grade. How are you going to kill my whole family? I like to procure it for you if I can. We all need sustenance. I don't know why he does that to himself. Because the guy's cool as fuck.
He
You know
is
what I mean?
cool.
And you undertipped. You only tipped $4 on a $6 bill. I was pissed about that. You got
Stop
tipped.
trying to make it about you
Yeah,
and
he
yourself.
loves-
This is about fucking...
It's all about him.
Holy shit, we got a spy report. Spy report. Here's
report.
John in Texas.
Hey there, Ronnie B.
Hey.
Just breaking on TMZ, Nicolas Cage and Vince Neil break out into a fight at the Las Vegas airport.
Oh, an old lady fight.
What?
All right, let's, is there a video in this?
Yeah, on TMZ.
All right, we're going to check it out. Thanks. Nic Cage in a cage match against Vince Neil. Give me a little volume.
Stop this shit now! Hey! Give me my ring! We're not here, We're not Nicholas. Don't do it. I love you.
Well, that's not a fight. It's one dude wanting something and he yelling, I love you at his buddy. Let's see it one more time. I don't know whether they're playing the dozens on us, you know.
Help me now! Stop this shit now! Hey! Give me my ring! We're not here, We're not Nicholas. Don't do it. I love you.
Okay, so it's definitely a weird thing that's happening. I wouldn't say it's a fight.
No, it's a drunken thing where you try to calm your buddy down or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. He's obviously in a state, and then it definitely gets weird because they kind of end in a kind of headlock, almost kiss towards the end, where he's saying, "I love you. Stop this."
Yeah, stop. But it looked like Nick was wasted, but we don't know if Vince was, right?
No, yeah.
Because I think Vince is not supposed to be drinking. I think he already tapped on that, right?
Right.
Who knows, though? But it's weird. I'm doing this Dice Clay thing later, and Nic Cage is in Vegas all the time. He had a house there, and he was at this show, and he was wearing a crazy Nic Cage shirt, like a giant face, and it was at Guns N' Roses, right? And I bring this up in the Unmasked. It's just going to be 2 hours. That fucking Dice, Axel, and Nic Cage, they look like they would be the Avengers or something. They're not like regular people. You know what I mean? They don't dress or look or wear the jewelry of a regular person. There's just, I don't know, weird necklaces that are made out of teeth or ears, like in Vietnam. It's just a crazy scene. All that you cannot allow yourself to move to Vegas. You know what I mean? Visit Vegas, have fun, but in and out. In and outs.
Like, just like if you found yourself on a deserted island and you think, how long till I just turn completely primal? Like, how long do you think it would take for you to live in Vegas until you were just completely weird?
Oh, seconds.
Yeah.
Because I get weird as soon as I get there.
It has a weird energy. Like, immediately from when you get there, you're like, okay, no other place on earth feels like this.
No, it's the nuttiest thing. And it's the hardest place to sleep because while you're sleeping, you feel like you're losing money. Like, my money is downstairs. Why am I trying to sleep?
Right. And when I went, I had always heard the thing about, they keep it bright and the sounds are happy and they pump the oxygen in and it makes you... And I had always heard that, and I could not believe that I experienced it. Like, I blinked and it was 3 a.m. and I was not tired at 3 a.m. No. I was just like, now what are we doing? Like, it didn't feel like when you stay out all night.
No, but the ridiculous thing is, why, when you're eating breakfast, are you playing Keno? You don't play Keno.
It's there.
You know? You're just like, I gotta fucking shh. You're just fucking weird the whole time you're out there. I mean, these guys, they step into that. Dice Unmasked is amazing. Coming up in just under 2 hours, and we're going to play it all weekend. He's really hilarious. His show, I believe it's on Showtime On Demand right now, and then you can see it Sunday night if you're like that, 9:30 on Showtime. All 6 episodes are going to be available Showtime On Demand in the Showtime app. And the Twitter is at Real Dice Clay. And you got something for first responders today, right, Chris?
Yes, I have a copy of Andrew Dice Clay's book, signed.
By Andrew Dice Clay.
Signed by Andrew Dice Clay, Filthy Truth.
No.
And here's another thing, and probably you guys don't know this. Chris stole a cigarette from him. Yep. Remember how he was holding the cigarette? Chris took that.
Yeah, I have an Andrew Dice Clay cigarette.
Did he sign it?
He didn't sign it. But I can guarantee it is his Benson and Hedges.
Benson and Hedges? What, did he buy it from a time machine? A time cigarette machine?
Yeah, it was Benson Hedges Light, to be, totally specific.
I didn't know that they still sold Benson and Hedges.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever smoked a Benson and Hedges. Like, what does the pack look like?
It's gold. There's a Benson and Hedges.
Yeah, I do not think I have ever... I recognize that.
What was their thing? Did they have something that they said? Because everything, every cigarette used to have like a little brand, like a little tagline. Lucky Strikes was, I'd rather smoke than switch. I was going to say than quit, but I'd rather fight than switch.
Pall Mall was wherever particular people congregate.
That's weird, man. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's a weird one. That was their little tag.
All right, so this is an ad for Benson Hedges. If you got crushed in the clinch with your soft pack, try our hard pack.
Yeah, that's
No, that wouldn't be like. That's just one line.
The Queen said, "Look, Vince is wearing camo maternity pants."
Hey.
We're also told that song we played today is in Forrest Gump when Jenny is thinking about jumping off the balcony.
To show she's so wild.
Yeah, because she had sex and now she should die for it. Her dirty sex killed her. What a fucking weird movie that Forrest Gump is.
It's a weird movie. And by the way, I can't remember all the songs on the soundtrack, but I feel like that soundtrack was one of those that used all the stereotypical songs.
Right.
Like anything that's been in a million movies has probably been in Forrest Gump. Like I know it's like they use Sweet Home Alabama and that's been in like 100 movies.
Fortune Son.
Yeah. There's just like
Son has been done so many times.
Yeah.
So many times. I'll tell you another one that's in movies constantly and always ironically Bad to the Bone. So
constantly,
like if a toddler starts doing something, and then people still laugh.
That is so
like,
cute.
Oh my god, that kid thinks he's bad to the bone.
That opens Problem Child. Because the kid's a problem.
All right, people are asking about the Vince Neil, Nic Cage. You go over to the iBang and check it out, but I don't know. Lopez just wrote, it's a Nic Cage acting class. It totally could be. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think... I just, you never know what Cage is doing. I just watched a movie of his yesterday. I don't even know if this came out in the theater because it's only like 2 years old. But he's a CIA guy and he has a terminal disease, right?
Okay.
And he's chasing a terrorist who also has a terminal disease.
What?
It's the weirdest version of Face Off. Dude, one guy is like getting intravenous stuff and Cage is blacking out. And I'm just like, this is the nuttiest thing I ever thought. Hour and a half went by and I'm still fucking watching it. I'm like, what is this shit?
This
the
is
whole
crap.
time. And it's fucking amazing. He's just yelling shit out. Awesome. What are you doing?
You think that they would be buddies for that? They could relate to each other.
Yeah, they're intense dudes.
Yeah. Well, you're going to do whatever you're going to do.
I meant because they were both sick. But
let it go. Just let it go with intense dudes. His brain isn't on today.
I know.
I got news for you.
Snap that brain on.
You haven't done your thing for weeks, and then you were back in today.
Yeah.
Is this the handoff to Dan? Should it be smoking with Dan?
Dan does smoke, but smoking with Chris. I mean, Dan can be
I
with
understand that, but just like everything in life, you had your run, right? It's time for you to hand that cigarette to fucking Rubber Band Dan and let him do his thing.
I think there's something about Dan.
Oh yeah, that's funny. That's right there. That's all you need to say. There's something about Dan.
There's just something about Dan that you don't have. It's like an it factor. Like that's why it's hard to describe.
Did you guys watch Jeffrey jumping around?
I did watch Jeffrey jump around.
Yeah, I missed it. I slept from 9 to 1:45 last night. That was it.
It's weird hours to sleep too.
I'm like a maniac. I'm like a lunatic.
I did 11 to 4 shift.
Okay, you guys have the internal clock. Your internal clock is off. You're not on the schedule of the rest of the world.
Well, first of all, Chris has an internal dick.
No, it's external.
Why didn't I just say cock?
I don't know.
I don't know why I went with dick.
I almost went cock, and then I was like, I'll let it go.
No, never let it go. Just fucking slam that thing down on my hands when I'm playing the piano. Does that thing have a name that
the cover that covers the keys?
Lid?
Key cover?
Key lid?
I don't
It's a key lid.
The lid and a key. Your brain is bringing up dope slang to you, Chris. Hey, John, what's up?
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, my son signed us up for Blue Apron at Christmas time, and I had heard about it from your show over the years, but my wife's a hell of a cook, so I never really thought about ever, doing that. But I tell you, it is amazing. And she loves it more than I, just for the fact that, she looks at all the different spices that it would take her an hour to go to a store
Absolutely.
and try to collect the things. So, I mean, she's totally in love with it. The food is fantastic. The vegetarian, which I'm not, we've gotten it plenty of times, and I'll grill a chicken breast on the grill and throw that over the...
That's funny.
And it's amazing. But when we skip a week now, we've coined the phrase that we've got the Apron Blues.
Oh, I like that. I'm going to steal that from you, John.
But it is great. Thanks to your show, my son listens, and he signed us up for Christmas, so it's been great ever since.
I think that's fantastic. I'm glad to hear it.
That's exactly for me. I mean, the meals are great, but the shopping, like not having to buy all those ingredients. First of all, you just wouldn't.
You just wouldn't do it. Yeah.
And then also the stress of just like thinking what to do every single night can be really exhausting. To know like 3 nights a week, you know what you're going to do. That alone is the biggest stress reliever.
Yeah, people, because here's what happens. Whoever cooks, whether it's the woman or the man, but it's normally the woman, and she goes, "What do you want me to make tonight?" And you're like, "I don't know. I don't know what I want to eat 7 hours from now." And then you get there, and she's like, "I'm making this," and you're like, "Really?" Because I did not want that. Just this awful thing that takes place.
And then the idea of, because the problem is what you want is like something new and exciting. Just excite me. I don't want to eat the same thing over and over.
But I'm guarantee you'll make meals that blow away anything that you can go out and buy.
And I've learned so much about cooking and preparing. I'm so much faster. My knife skills are faster. Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
I've got phenomenal knife skills. I'm going to probably invite Dan over as a way of celebrating his new gig.
That's such a good idea.
He gets invite.
Hey, did you see, I don't know, the video up on the iBang of the dog that every time you turn off the TV, he runs into the bedroom? I guess.
It's so Birdie. It reminds me so much of Birdie. So he's got this he associates the sound of the powering down of the TV with going to bed.
Mommy and Daddy are going to bed. And they're just, night after night, they show as they turn off the TV. He doesn't check on them or anything.
No,
he just
shoots up. And it's such a good sound, too. Like, boom. Like it's almost like you're powering the dog off or something. That's my sound. You got to get to bed.
Well, what is he, afraid to sleep out there without them?
I guess so, yeah. He's like, I know where this is going. We're moving into the bedroom with this.
Gotcha. TV off, into the bedroom. That's hilarious. That's literally one of my favorite vids right now.
But the thing is, if you think about how much your dog sleeps a day, it's insane. That they only go through these little moments of playing and then eating, but it's a good 90% sleeping for life.
They just sleep. Why? Why are they so tired?
They're so sleepy. When I first adopted Birdie, the first time I took her to the vet, I was like,
"Oh, that's not a natural dog."
No, she's adopted.
Oh. Well, that's nice because she's chosen.
I know. Right? People often think that we look alike.
Your real parents.
But no, she's adopted. But I took her to the vet and I asked, hey, she seems to sleep a lot. And she said, yeah, the average dog will sleep anywhere from 14 to 20 hours a day.
Oh, that's great.
I was like, 20 hours?
That's like sleeping like a junkie.
Your whole life.
That's not sleeping. That's the nods.
But it kind of just makes me want to just like Freaky Friday with her just for like 1 week and just get like a solid amount of sleep.
You know, I read about this. If you did end up in a dog's body, you wouldn't be able to understand how they think. They think totally different. We think that they think like us, but they don't.
Wow. Okay, so probably because of their different senses, they're receiving information on a different level than we are.
But also their different brain. Like, we would probably just think that we were tripping or fucking on heroin if we had a dog brain. So you'd be like, what am I doing? And like they said, like the vision, everything would be different. Here's what you need to do with Birdie.
Okay.
Tito's is doing something. This Sunday, April 10th in New York City, a parade for the ASPCA 150th anniversary. Starts at 11 o'clock. Parade goes from Madison Square Park on 26th and 5th out to Union Square. Our friend Beth from Tito's, who we love, will be marching this year.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Vodkafordogpeople.com is where you go for information. And then after that, there's going to be a pet adoption event at the House of Vans in Brooklyn. Animal Planet is covering all the adoption expenses. So if you want to march, and I don't know whether you march with your animal, do you, Chris?
Yeah, you can march with your dog, yeah.
That would be great.
Sounds great. I'm sure
Is there floats for Birdie? Because she won't walk that.
Please. I'd love to get her on a float. I also highly recommend following Vodka for Dog People on Instagram because they're always putting up really cute,
Really?
Tito's related dog pictures.
So this is a concept with them.
Yeah, that's, their cause. They're Tito's. Tito is a dog man. He loves a dog.
Ooh, very cool. Hey, the Chris Gethard show is back, Chris. There's a piece up on the iBang about it.
Yeah, Puff Daddy shows up to the Chris Gethard show.
How does that happen?
He was on, he went to one of Gethard's show, UCB shows like 5 years ago, and Gethard's like, open invitation, ever come back, Puff Daddy. And then Puff Daddy.
Well, don't they have like a Puff Daddy door?
And yeah, for the new set on the Fusion show, there was a door saying, whenever Puff Daddy wants to come back, come straight through that door, P. Diddy. And then it happened. Puff Daddy came back to the Chris Gethard show.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
This gets even weirder. So Zach Galifianakis calls in and they fight, Puff and Zach, about who loves Gethard more. Everybody wants to be with Gethard.
I've had this exact fight with Tom Sharpling.
I know.
That's so weird.
And we lost that, I believe.
I know. We lost bad once I found out they were going to basketball games together.
You couldn't go because you're allergic to squeaks.
The squeaks. And, I powered through that for the Nova Nation. But
Nova Nation.
It was really, really squeaky. And I powered through. It was not easy for me because the squeaks are constant.
I like the squeaks.
That's what I've heard from people who
like it.
People, there are some
I like
people.
the sound of it.
I want to invent a squeakless sneaker so I can get more people into basketball.
I would love that.
Would you pay for a channel that had squeakless
Yes,
basketball?
I would. Yes, I would. Because I think it would change the sport for me.
How about the app? Would you buy the app and then you can watch the games on your phone?
Mm-hmm. How much is the app?
$75.
Whoa!
All my apps are $75.
I still would, because I think that's my only problem with basketball. Man, there was somebody on the train who was squeaking back and forth today.
Oh, I can't stand that.
I mean, his sneaker, I don't know why he was pacing. Everyone else is standing.
Shoes. Ever been in a hospital?
Like that, back and forth.
But you don't mind hearing that, like you did that sound.
Well, I didn't like doing it, but as an example.
I'm always wondering what it is. You might have like tinnitus or something like that.
Oh, it could be.
There was, it's the girl on Togetherness. And she also used to be on 2.5 Men. She was the girl that used to stalk Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
She has some kind of problem where she can't handle low sounds.
Low, like quiet?
Like
if whispers?
Yeah. And it's
Interesting.
it literally has a name. Like people just like, if there's just like people whispering in the corner, they just start fucking freaking out. And I know people that can't go out to restaurants because they keep hearing
the cutlery.
The cutlery is what they hear.
Yes, they're hearing the
cutlery.
By the way, he wasn't searching for the word for fork and knife.
It's cutlery, Ron. I got you.
Here's the word no one actually uses.
Let me procure some cutlery for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you need good music at a good level in a restaurant, because you're trying to soak up loud conversation, the squeaking forks and knives, and then just general eating sounds that people make. That's why you need a nice level of music in there. It's very weird if you walk into a place.
What kind of music do we love when we're in there?
Dream pop.
Dream pop.
Dream pop.
Gotta get this album. It's so fucking great. I have a problem where dream pop bothers me.
Oh no.
The sound.
The sound of dream pop. See if Dan's around. I want to also correct him. Hey, here's something you like on the iBank today, Gail. Mateo Lane. Everybody loves Mateo Lane. But this is like Mateo at his favorite pizza places.
I love it.
Yeah, look. There he is,
He's
just
a doll.
scarfing. Yeah.
Oh, that one looks good.
Yeah. Well, that's his favorite place. I guess that's Brooklyn. Is
It's,
it Lower East Side?
It's around Union Square, Ribalta.
Dude, that's where the dog march is going to be.
It's perfect.
Why don't you take your animal there?
I don't have an animal.
I meant those two guys that you do your fucking podcast with.
They're humans.
Other Chris and Bronx Johnny.
Yeah.
By the way, tell them I don't think I can make it this week
Okay.
because I haven't been asked.
Oh.
Are you doing it out of that kid's apartment?
Yeah, Ralph Sutton's apartment.
Is it weird to be in someone's apartment?
It's weird. Or this is the thing. He has an elevator, and the elevator goes directly into his apartment.
Oh, that's a cool look, though.
Yeah, I like that.
It's cool, but it's just very strange to open up, and then it's like,
But you have
Is
to
it
have
a big
key?
loft, though?
yeah, you have to have a key, yeah, or they have to call you up. So it's like ring the buzzer.
What
and
floor is he on?
4.
It's weird.
And is it a big loft space? Because normally those are big loft
Yeah, it's pretty.
apartments.
Like a 2-bedroom apartment. Yeah, it's pretty big.
It's average size.
Yeah.
2 bedrooms.
But it's not like a
But
big giant
He,
kind
does,
of...
he means it's not a big open room.
Oh, no.
That's what you're
Yeah,
talking about. Because it used to be like an artist's loft.
Exactly.
Blah, blah, blah. Because I use this for my painting as well as then I have a mattress in the corner. I didn't know that was Ralph Sutton's place.
Yeah,
We've had him on.
he came on with Jay.
Well, they do that show together.
Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll podcast.
It's one of Jay's 19 fucking shows that he has. I don't know when he records them because he's on the road all the time.
Yeah, constantly.
How does he do it?
I don't know. And how do we get this away from watching Mateo Lane eat pizza? Who's the photographer on this?
That is,
Listen to the little,
yeah.
like him scrolling.
It's Phil Provencio.
Great stuff. Yeah, come in, Dan. Dan never feels confident to come in. And Joe, you weren't confident to send him?
I told him to go in. He wanted to say hi first.
Your mic sounds crazy.
Hello, testing.
Well, that's better.
Okay.
I think it's the testing that helped you.
Yeah.
You got an animal?
No, I don't.
You don't... I thought you had
Yeah,
a
cat.
roommate.
Oh, we have a kitten and a puppy. Half
Why don't you
Rottweiler,
take the
half
puppy on
German
this
Shepherd.
walk with Chris
It's
and Bronx Johnny.
Yeah, me and Bronx Johnny are going to be there Sunday, April 10th. That's just for the ASPCA's 150th anniversary. The parade's happening at Madden Square Park on 26th and 5th.
Square Park.
What's a queer park?
Square Park.
Just as I'm reading that, Elizabeth was wondering why you always drop the H on human, but I'm an H dropper too.
You are.
That's a Philly thing.
It is a Philly thing. Human.
Go ahead.
And
Square Park.
Madison Square Park on 26th and 5th. It goes to Union Square. It starts at 11 a.m. And afterwards, there'll be a pet adoption event at the House of Vans in Brooklyn. Animal Planet is covering all the adoption expenses.
You just said pet adoption.
Oh, pet.
I don't want any pets.
There's no pets. Pets with a T. And go to vodkafordogpeople.com.
You know what surprised me about that? 150 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I didn't even think people gave a shit about dogs.
I thought they
150
started to
years
care
ago.
about in the 50s. I would have said the 50s. People are like, you're being mean to that dog.
Right.
But before that, they would,
It's property.
yeah. My dad was out fucking hunting with a guy. It was a guy had a pointer, right?
Mhm.
And the pointer broke, and he was so mad he started fucking blasting at his dog. My father says, I'm not going to say what he said, but basically,
Wow.
I'll be walking back alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He couldn't fucking believe it. But the people used to just feel like, this dog's no good. I'll fucking kill it.
Oh my God.
That's when they used to just throw dogs in a river and all that
Yeah.
shit. You
And
know.
he's very must-love dogs. You know what I mean? He's
He's
a
always
dog
got a
man.
dog.
He's
always got a dog.
There's always been a dog in that house.
Basically, his hunting dog, he had a Chesapeake Bay Retriever. And then when I got older, it was that dog was, like, you'll see my baby pictures with that dog all the way up. And when that dog died, I literally said, I don't know if I could ever have another dog.
Yeah.
That would be, like, to me, I felt like it would be getting another grandmother. I was like, this pain is more than I could take.
It's horrible what you do by, like, attaching yourself to this creature and you spend like all your time with it and then you just look at it and be like, oh God.
We loved that bad dog. And it was. But here's the thing. So this was my dad's hunting dog. And if you just look up Chesapeake Bay Retriever, they're beautiful dogs, right? So my dad hunted with it, but then it got older and couldn't go anymore. But like even when I would take it for a walk, it would be really old and he still would want me to throw a stick. And I would only do it like 1.5 feet and let him get it. And he would bring it back. But when that dog died, my dad buried him in the backyard, and he wrapped that dog in his hunting jacket, and he never hunted again. This is the weird thing with my family. We're always out ready to say,
oh, yeah.
And this ends everything.
Yeah.
There'll
and
be no more.
No one goes back. And then the way it lives on is somebody explaining it like 40 years later, like, that was the last time he ever hunted.
He'll never hunt again.
He said, I'll never hunt again. And he hasn't.
And he never did. If you say the word hunt to him, you're in trouble. It's very weird. We do that like 1,000,000 times.
There's so many things like that.
Dan, we were talking about you today. We're worried about using words that other humans don't.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like when he told you to go get buttered rolls, and do you remember what you said?
No, I don't actually.
Tell him, Chris.
Where do I procure them?
Now, if you fucking use words like that, no one's going to swipe Pretender.
You want those right swipes, bro.
People love smart people.
No.
You're leaving yourself open to a schoolyard bully.
By the way, that doesn't make you smarter, Chris. Saying that. It's not smarter to say something that people don't say. You know what I mean?
See, but in my mind, I didn't remember that because to me, that didn't even seem weird.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you to catch yourself being weird and stop it.
Okay.
I'll tell you right now, I don't like when someone says my office mate. I go, why don't you just say your fucking friend that you're forced to share an office with?
Or even just go with coworker. Why not? With the office mate specifically.
I'll say my bro.
Let's say that's because you're a street dude.
Thank you. Or bruh.
This is the kind of guy you have to worry about.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that you guys wear the same kind of shirts.
And by the way,
different.
What makes you feel like you're so smart? You feel like you're smarter than all of us?
No, I didn't say that. I feel like I'm smart because I went to college and am educated.
Really? I mean, what is this, 1820? Do you go around meeting people who this is a foreign idea to?
No, in fact, Ron, they say a high school degree, what it used to be is now what a college degree is.
Here's the thing. Now, let me just ask you this, though.
Damn,
how fucking smart are you if you're fucking 90 fucking stacks in debt? And there was an article today that millennials, when they're asked, when will you pay off your college fucking loan? The number one answer is, I don't know.
Never.
I don't know.
Probably never.
Yeah, they'll always be there. I'm a Generation Y guy. So I just say I'm not paying it off.
Okay.
I have many friends who don't pay them.
You're a generation. Why are you here?
By the way, Generation Y is millennials. They just renamed it millennials. They started saying Generation Y because it came after X, but then it got renamed. You're a millennial and you don't want to admit it.
I'm a Generation Y dude.
That doesn't exist anymore.
Yes,
and if
it
you're
does.
saying you're Generation Y, that's the same as saying you're a millennial.
No, it's not.
You're
Millennials
just
totally
on the
different.
elderly end of millennials.
No, I'm
You're
before
like
millennials.
the first millennial.
No, I'm not.
They held up the baby. It was Stanley.
and then we knew a generation was doomed.
Listen,
Come on.
I'm going to probably clear the place pretty soon because we have a baby boomer coming in here, and I don't want him to meet you dorks.
Can I stay?
Yeah, you can stay.
Okay.
Chris,
Okay.
you take your fucking procuring fucking sidekick, and both of you go out and find gumballs and brag about your college education.
I ain't bragging. He's the one bragging.
I'm back from university. I'll teach you all to dig wells for water.
I think, though, that people who have a big vocabulary are loathed so much more than anyone
Yes,
else. Like I knew a girl in high school, and she was very smart, and she was very cool actually. But she had a very great vocabulary that she used all the time. And anytime I introduced her to anyone, they're like, I don't like her. So there's something about her I don't like. And it was because she was not speaking like an average person.
Yes, because when you don't talk like you would normally talk to a person, you're trying to act like you're above them. Like he was just bragging about a fucking high school degree. Now,
La-di-da. Let
me please bring up who's coming in here. That's why I don't want any of you fucking dork squad around here. In my opinion, the Geils Band is the greatest live rock and roll band in the history of the known universe. Their frontman, Mr. Peter Wolf, is the best frontman I've ever seen. And don't act like I didn't see Queen or the Rolling Stones or fucking Van Halen with Diamond Dave twirling a baton. I didn't. And I'm telling you, Peter Wolf is the fucking coolest guy I've ever seen in my life. He's coming in here, and I need this fucking place to be cool. Be fucking cool. He's got a new album out, A Cure to Loneliness. It's available in stores and online. You see why I can't have you around for this, Dan?
Yeah, I'm going to get the fuck out of here.
Now, by the way, later I'm doing the Unmasked with Dice Clay. Dice would beat you up just for fucking general purposes.
Might.
You know what? If he was like consenting to beat me up, I'd probably let him.
See, that's the thing dorks say. That's the things that dorks say, and they think it's okay.
If he gives his consent to...
Great punch. You don't have to be that way. You can be a regular fucking
I've been
fellow.
that way my whole life. What am I like?
Now you're an adult. You used to shit your pants. Don't tell me you still.
Dead man.
No, that's not going on anymore.
Yeah,
It seems like it happened recently.
And you shook the long hair. Like now you don't have the long hair look either.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a spur of the moment decision, and I still don't know how I feel about it.
You know what? Here's the deal. It just doesn't matter. Seriously, you could shave your head and paint it. You're still fucking dorking it up too much. And it looks like you got your shirt out of Chris Stanley's closet.
Yeah.
The other day he was wearing the exact same shirt as me.
Okay, so he wants your fucking guidance, dude. He's trying to be with you.
Well, he bummed the cigarette off me during smoking with Chris today.
Yes, we all viewed it on our phones.
Good.
All right?
All right.
Good.
Now, here's the deal. Instead of, for once, you won't be a fucking mentor to Joe. You won't be a mentor to Vito. At least be one to Dan. Teach him the ways of the world.
I will teach you, Dan. And you will not be a nerd anymore.
Why you take him out jumping around with you and your other fucking friends? Were you offered to be on the big kickball team?
No offer.
And he fucking works with those guys.
I know.
They're next to him, and he's got to hear them talking about kickball.
Constantly, just nothing to kickball. Stats.
And by the way, Handsome Johnny goes, what's going on with Chris? He didn't pay his dues. And I go like this. First of all, Johnny, he's not a fucking asshole, all right? He knows kickball shouldn't cost 85 fucking bucks.
Thank you. It's a fucking scam they're running downtown.
Yeah, I know.
What,
I played kickball in first grade. You know what it cost me?
How much?
Zip, zero, nothing.
Thank
we
you.
just fucking rolled the ball and kicked it.
What am I paying? $85 for a T-shirt? I'll get a T-shirt, write kickball on it.
By the way, this was the best part of any fucking elementary school thing, when you hit a guy with a fucking with the ball when he was running and he fell down. That was our version of fucking entertainment.
Kickball to the face is like one of the worst
hilarious.
feelings.
It's awesome. Great sound.
All right, so Peter Wolf coming up in just a few minutes. Everybody clear out. Yo, you might have to leave too.
Please, can I stay?
Just by saying please.
May I stay?
Say that's not it. You gotta be like, I'm staying.
I'm staying here.
Yeah, but you can't be told to say it. You know, you gotta want to say it.
I would like to stay here.
Can I procure some lunch for everyone?
There's free pizza upstairs.
Well, from where?
I don't know from where, but it was there.
Dan, you want to fucking be cool?
Yeah, what?
Go steal us a fucking full pizza.
Get a
Come on.
full pizza.
Dan,
Come on, Dan.
Dan, get the pizza.
Pizza.
Look at me. Dan.
All right, I'll get the pizza.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Get it,
All right, try to go get it by before we break. Go up and grab it now.
You want me to go up and grab it now?
Yeah, man, don't make me say shit
Dan,
over and over.
We just
Where the fuck is the pie?
We just chanted Dan.
All right, I'll go.
Don't let
the
it.
headphones on
Don't
the
fucking
mic.
say it's for us either.
Yeah, do not dive us out.
Just for me?
No, just fucking nobody sees you.
Yeah,
you're
just
like a
slide out.
fucking ninja warrior.
Try to get pepperoni.
No, he gets the phone when he gets back.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, pepperoni.
Pepperoni,
Don't
yeah.
come down here for cheese.
Vito, tell him to get pepperoni. Make sure he fucking knows pepperoni.
Vito, fucking. You know what, Vito? Just fucking be behind him. If anything happens, you leave.
Just get out of there.
Run back and tell us what happened.
They got Dan.
They're beating him now. He's crying.
How'd they get him?
It was the pizza.
See if it's the pizzas from Mateo Lane's place.
I hope
Oh,
it
that
is.
would be perfect.
Ribalta.
Ribalta. That pizza looks good.
Mateo Lane looks like a fucking movie star in the 50s.
Yeah.
Looks like Tony Curtis's unemployed brother.
Yeah, he's a fox for sure.
He is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, these pictures are right from before he came on the last time he came on the
just
show.
said pictures.
Pictures, I heard him say
Pictures.
it.
I have trouble with pictures. Pictures.
Why would we care when it was?
Just throwing out a fun fact?
Why? Why do you throw out fun facts? They should be called non-facts. What is your brain telling you to do all the
I don't
time?
know. Fucking throw out useless information. I'm
Seriously,
gonna make sure.
Instead of you fucking making this kid hipper, you're fucking dorking with him. You're playing kickball with Handsome Johnny and that crew. You're fucking top 40 of things.
I'm gonna start kickstarting my fee. I'll have a Kickstarter.
He told me he cried during American Idol last night.
Did you
I
really?
got really emotional because end of an era, and that dude won. I was like, oh my god. I thought the chick should have won, Michelle.
Well, she needed a fucking good lesson in racism. It's 2016. They're never going to pick her.
I voted for her.
We'll have a black president before we get a black American Idol winner. Mark my words. You know she got ripped off.
It was a fucking sham.
Yeah,
I can't believe that's how they do it at the end. They go out on a
She's
scam.
got a crazy good voice.
Why they
I
did
don't
it
know
a
why.
million times. I think a lot of the she's got an unbelievable voice.
And what does he have? Nothing.
I think he's country, and it shows kind of a country show. They
Yeah.
like it. But like they said last night, goodbye from American Idol. For now.
What is that?
Hopefully a movie's coming.
No, idiot. The show's coming back.
Oh, God. A movie? How would they do that?
It could be the story of American Idol.
Look, Dan, you got to fucking understand something.
I'm Chris.
You're turning into Dan.
I'm not turning into Dan.
Stan Man and Dan Man.
We'll get an invite, though, next time.
Huh?
You make sure you're not around when fucking Peter Wolf's here, because I don't want you to take some blurry, shitty, out of fucking focus picture on your shitty phone.
That is his thing, isn't it?
I can't stand it. Bum, bum, bum. Here's what else while we're doing animal stuff. There's a little fish that they gave a Viking funeral to.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, that is so, first of all, that's so respectful considering most fish, as we know, get flushed. So this is very unique. It's a very elaborate funeral.
That's because there's so much marijuana around. You know what's weird for the amount of marijuana that they have in Colorado? They showed the stuff. They're just like 100% Ted Cruz people out there.
Really?
Yeah,
that's weird.
I wonder why.
Pot smokers don't vote.
So it's all for nothing anyway. I mean, the poll meant nothing because those guys aren't going to vote.
What?
What are you talking about?
All right, all the weed heads are not voting, so... What the fuck is this?
The table was gone. The pizza was gone. It was all gone. This wasn't like Halloween when there was so much left over. I'm going to pin this one on Vito.
No. You reported that there was pizza.
Yeah.
We weren't even thinking about pizza.
Yeah.
And then you come in, you're like, hey guys, I can get you pizza. We fucking believed you.
I can't believe this.
Lion Dan. Oh no.
Is this more lies, Dan?
No.
Why you like lying so much?
What are you telling us? There's fucking French bread right now over at Shade 45. Is that it?
I don't believe him. If that's what he's saying, just don't. I got so excited. I thought for sure we were just going to get...
There's going to be a pizza party
Yeah,
here.
we would have a party of pizzas.
We were all going to... Remember when we were chanting Dan, Dan, Dan?
Yeah.
Cut that out of the replay.
Good.
Okay.
Got it.
Because I might be listening, and I'll just fucking be like, oh, that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That pizza liar.
You fucked us.
You know where I come from? They kill people for lying about pizza. I saw 7 people lying dead, and I go, what happened to them? And they're going, they said there was pizza.
Understandable. I
They
feel
were
like
fucking slaughtered in the street. Cop pulls up and goes like this. Well, just deserved. That's a justifiable homicide right there.
eye for an eye.
He made the kids all.
Are you saying you want to murder me?
Oh, Dan, you fucking seriously. This is the smart thing that you're bragging about.
Yeah, you're right. I've got no excuse for this.
You know why Dan thinks he's smart? Because he wears glasses.
You ever notice that the people who wear glasses, they think they're so smart?
Yeah, they think they're fucking smarter than
think
everybody.
They're so smart.
All right, Joe took off his glasses, and now you look like a fucking ant that just crawled
Oh
out
my
of the
God,
box.
Joe, never take your glasses off. I think that's so strange.
Can't see anything. Everyone's so blurry in there. I don't know who's who. I don't know who's Chris and who's
I've
Dan.
never seen him with his glasses off.
I'm sitting next to him. I got fucking 20/20. I can't fucking tell them apart either.
I'm Chris.
Who said that? Dan or Chris?
Yeah, Chris did. Me.
You look like 2 before pictures. Why do you cough every time you laugh?
I'm smoking way too much, man. It's getting out of control.
You're a fucking lunger over there.
Yeah, it's bad.
Hey, so you're going to give out that signed book. Do you give out the smoked cigarette with it?
I'll give out the unsmoked cigarette.
Oh!
Yeah, legitimate, genuine. Andrew Dice Clay, Benson and Hedge.
So all you got to do is after be a first responder, tweet to
At the Real Dice Clay. At the Real Dice Clay. You got a chance to win a signed copy of Andrew's book, signed by Andrew, and a Andrew Dice Clay
who
cigarette.
calls him Andrew?
Signed by Andrew.
Ever called Dice Andrew?
He calls himself Dice.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's big a big fucking Vegas welcome to Andrew.
Dice Clay is what I meant.
We can't let you do anything, Chris. You're fucking seriously. You're the fucking Dan of this group right now.
No, I'm the
You
Chris of this
so
group.
are.
I got the cigarette, didn't I?
That's creepy as it is. Stalky.
Yeah,
So
like
you can win Dice's Benson and Hedges cigarette along with a signed book by Andrew.
Dice Clay. It's a filthy truth.
All right. And how do you do it?
You tweet at the Real Dice Clay, at the Real Dice Clay to be a first responder.
Dice.
I said Dice Clay.
Dice Clay. Dice.
You know what it should be?
What's your brain telling you over there, Chris?
Tell me to mispronounce everything.
I'm working on my Chris Stanley impression. Ready?
That's how I sound this morning.
Sick.
This morning, constant.
All day, every day.
He's fucking coughing, farting. It's like a weird sound machine.
I only fart in the booth. That's the fart
That makes
box.
me so sick to
It is
think
a
that.
fart area?
Well, first of all, that you require a fart area, and second that you would do that to those kids in that tiny
I'm
room.
not going to do it in here to you guys. I'm not going to do it in the hall. There's gas. You go in the booth.
Just stop doing it.
I have goddamn gastrointestinal problems. It comes out.
That's so gross, Chris.
It's a bodily function.
You can hold it long enough to get in that other room, though, can't you?
Yeah. Well, I plan ahead. I feel it coming. Got to go to the booth.
That's so
What do
mean
they
to them.
say to you when you just go in there and fucking rip one?
They like it. They said that thank you.
No,
They say, thank you.
that's
Don't.
disgusting.
Joe, is that what you like to do?
No, I hate
Chris,
it.
Thank you.
You know how big my nose is.
Ew.
Yeah.
Smell everything.
Yeah, you do.
Someone wrote in, did Chris just say Michelle should have won Idol? And then they wrote, who's that?
What's that her name? The chick's name from last night?
Were you thinking Michelle Obama, you fucking racist?
Oh my God.
No.
Chris. Wow, Chris.
I did not mean president's wife.
What did you mean?
The chick that was, runner-up. Her name was Michelle.
I don't think it is.
By the way, Keith said this. Full House was the best live albums of all time. No Frampton, no UFO, no Kiss, no Foghorn. I think he meant to say Foghat.
An autocorrect, probably.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree. He's the best. They made 3 of the best live recordings of all time. Yeah, I heard Get Your Yah-Yahs Out. I don't know if I can understand what you're talking. Let's break here, Chris. We'll be back and getting ready to talk to Peter Wolf. New album, it's great. It's different. It's all his solo stuff is very different from the Geils Band. It's very roots music. It's very blues, bluegrass, country, kind of old school country. Not the kind of you hear on the radio today. He's just amazing. We'll break. Right back. This is Bennington. Hey, it's the Bennington Show. Just about the last time that you'll be able to sign up for the Jim Norton Unmasked, which is kind of cool because Norton used to open for Dice.
That's true.
Yeah, that is true.
The Unmasked is Tuesday, April 19th at 8 p.m. at the Village Underground in New York City. So you guys can go to theinterrorbank.com for your last chance at free tickets because they're going real fast.
They're going very, very quick.
Get on it.
It's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a great night.
I can't wait for this one.
Coming up in just a little bit, Peter Wolf will be here. He's got a new album out called A Cure to Loneliness. It's available now in stores and online. PeterWolf.com to check it out. Should be great.
I can't wait. I hope I am allowed to stay.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
For sure. Shouldn't even joke about that. Oh, look at this. They arrested one of the Paris terrorists.
There was one that was arrested not too long ago, right?
Yeah, I thought that one guy got killed.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
Long ago.
So then this is the last one, right? The last suspect that they had?
I'm not exactly sure. Because I don't know if they know who all of them are. All the candidates has been hanging out in New York. Clinton was on a subway. Cruz was in the Bronx yesterday singing along with Jewish people.
Okay.
Did you see that at all?
No, I didn't
really
see it.
Is that on the iBang?
Yeah, it is.
It's really bad. These were these acidic Jews. Please turn it up. Now look at him acting like he's singing. Yeah, he's just shaking his hand back
God,
and forth.
the phony smile he has on his face. It's so uncomfortable.
And then everywhere he goes, people are saying, what about that shit you said about New York values? And he's like, people come up to me and they say constantly, we know what you mean when you say New York values. You meant liberal Democrat. I'm like, we just had like fucking 12 years of Republican mayors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have a Republican governor.
Also, the people who come up to you and say that are not New Yorkers. Like
They also don't exist.
Yeah,
that's
it's
you
just
lying once again.
It's just not true. But yeah, I can't even believe he would even try to show his face here after that.
He wants to win at all costs, this guy. He really would. He would do anything to be the president of the United States.
Well, Trump has the true and New York endorsement with Giuliani now. Yeah. Giuliani has given his seal of approval. America's mayor.
Who would you vote for if you voted today?
Kasich.
After yesterday and Hillary, I'm voting for Bernie.
I'm going to say Hillary because, like, she and I both ride the subway the same way, so.
I'm Paul Ryan, and I believe it's going to happen.
But he hasn't even stuck his head up
Yet, but I've been speaking almost nonstop with the Koch brothers. And the three of us we're doing a thing called a Kansas City Shake that we believe is going to pull it out.
I know you guys were tight like that.
Oh, we're tight, my friend.
What's that mean?
We're just very close. We tried to fucking just corner the silver market one time. That's the kind of shit we do. And another time, we made Dan Aykroyd trade places with Eddie Murphy. And the funny thing about it is we destroyed their lives, and we bet $1. And I don't want to tell you what Mortimer called Eddie Murphy, but I don't even think you can say it these days.
Just don't.
And he just laid it out there so dry. Bum, bum, bum. You know, Vito's supposed to be my wrestling guy. You didn't even bring up that Blackjack Mulligan died.
I read that this morning.
Oh, that's so sad.
What do you have, the Lariat? Is that what he was known for? Was he a Lariat guy?
Is that
Or I got him confused with Stan Hansen. Or Stan Stasiak. How did he used to win? What was his big finishing move?
I don't know what it is.
You know who his grandson is?
Who's that?
Bray Wyatt.
Is that right?
Yeah. There's a lot of wrestling families.
Yeah,
out there.
there are a lot.
Yeah.
And then you train in the dungeon, you know?
Yeah.
Learn from a young age.
Hey, that's the way to pick it up, you know?
Mulligan used the iron claw.
Ah, very good.
Yeah, iron
He
claw.
would claw somebody.
Much like anyone called Blackjack would.
Yeah, that's
use
odd.
their
Yeah.
iron claw.
Well, he would actually, this would be the funniest thing about him. He would, towards the end of the match when he was ready to win, put the glove on then. You're like, come on, man. Have the glove on because you never know when you're going to need it. You have no idea when it's time for this. Peter Wolf coming in just a couple of minutes. His new album, A Cure to Loneliness, available in stores and online, peterwolf.com. What song is he coming into, Chris?
Wasting Time.
Ah, it's a good one.
I love this album. It's great.
Oh, I think it's great too.
And this song is phenomenal as well.
I don't have the tracks in front of me right now, but I love that country song at the end of it. It's real short, and it's called Tragedy, I think is the name of it.
Yeah.
Is that it? Or is it
Stranger.
It comes on right after Tragedy. Stranger. I love that. I love that song. I don't know what it is about that old school country.
Yeah.
I love the best.
He's got a lot of that kind of classic country sound. And then he plays with a lot of bluegrass in it, which is cool.
I'm not a bluegrass guy.
I know that about you.
The only place I go, what is that sound that you're doing? Why? But I love blues and I love acoustic blues. I don't know why that is. Like when Mike Zito was in here earlier this week.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear back from Mike?
Yeah.
Did you tell him who he just missed? Jack White?
Oh, no, I didn't
Write
mention.
to him right now when I'm sitting here.
Gotcha.
Say, I forgot to tell you, Ron wanted to remind you. As soon as you left, Jack White came in.
That was so crazy.
Would love, then I would have said, hey, do you want to sit in? Was, Zito.
Yeah, exactly.
Because one thing about Jack White, he'll never turn down a challenge.
He won't. And he loves to play with everyone.
Does he? One of those people?
Yeah.
Played with the Stones that time.
He did. He's played with a lot of people. And I feel like he plays with a lot of country artists as well. Like he seems to...
Well, he produced that Nashville album, remember?
Yeah.
I think he lives in Nashville now, right?
He does, yeah. That's where his record company is. Third Man Records.
Chris knows
He knows everything about him.
That was a great Loretta Lynn album he produced.
Love that.
That album's ridiculous.
In Portland.
So good.
I want to play that for Peter Wolf.
Should we play that instead?
No,
Here's a song you're going to love. By the way, this is the truth about Peter Wolf. You would not beat him on any kind of fucking music trivia.
Really?
Oh, he could teach a course. He knows and listens to music all the time, but he goes way deep. Doesn't matter where it came up or genre.
That always blows my mind when people have that type of memory, particularly with music, where they can just talk about
I think I learned everything, of like what blues albums to get from Jay Giles, Allman Brothers, Stones were pretty good about it. Clapton, of course. Clapton would be like, please don't get my album. Go get this guy. All right, he's ready?
Yes, he is.
This is very, very cool. The new album is out. A Cure to Loneliness. It's available now and in stores and online. What a pleasure. PeterWolf.com too for more information. But what a pleasure to welcome back to this show, Peter Wolf. Wasting time.
Yama Gama Goomaluma.
Peter Wolf is in studio. Great new album, A Cure for Loneliness. Good to see you again, my friend.
Well, good to be here again. Thanks for having me.
I got to tell you, there's something that you set up a tempo, a theme, a vibe in these albums, and it really is one of those things that you just throw on the album.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You just try to do your best and hope it works out. It's like going for a kiss.
Well, great players on this album as well, huh? You got some great people.
Well, I'm honored to have some really great top-shelf musicians, collaborators, because, first of all, Kenny White, who's a soul brother of mine who helped me record the last 4 solo records, and I have pretty much the same team of musicians, the great Sean Pelton, Tom Airy, I got Duke Levine and Kevin Barry, guitar players extraordinary, and Kenny himself is a wonderful musician. And to me, I bring in a song, and I get so excited to watch these guys bring it alive.
Yeah.
And so like Wasting Time, the song you just played, it was just me and acoustic guitar. I wrote it in my kitchen, in my underwear, eating a bologna sandwich. And just bringing it in and hearing Duke. And all of a sudden it just turns into something else. And that, to me, I think what makes movies or a playwright, the excitement they must have when they write the words of a play, and all of a sudden an actor comes. Like if you imagine something like Streetcar Named Desire, was a play that was written about the heroine Blanche, and who knew that this guy Marlon Brando was going to take it and make Stanley so when you write something, you never know how it's going to end when you're dealing with such fine artists as I believe I have on this record.
And you've got to have that for you. You've got to be surrounded by
Well,
people.
John Lee Hooker, who I got to know and was a dear friend of mine, always said to me, Peter, only the best and later for the rest, only the best and later for the garbage.
You met him, was this even before the Geils Band got big, right?
I had a band called the Hallucinations. We were a bunch of art students. I was going to the Boston Museum School of Fine Arts. I've told this story many times. I won't get into it, but my roommate was David Lynch, the filmmaker. He dropped out to start making films. I dropped out to start music. And John Lee Hooker was playing in town. I loved John Lee Hooker, so I got there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon so I could get a good seat. And when the evening came, and only about 20 people showed up. And this was, I couldn't believe it. This is like the great John Lee Hooker. So I went up to him and I said, during the break, I said, Mr. Hooker, I have a band. We could play and back up, and I think we could crowd this place for you. And he goes, 2 questions, he said. So I asked you 2 questions. I said, yes, sir. And he goes, you guys play loud? I said, no, we'll play really low. And he goes, there ain't no money involved. And I said, no, we don't want money. Just the idea of playing with you, sir, is a fortune. And we went to every student, put up handbills around, and we packed that place. And so John Lee made us his touring band for a while. And he was a great teacher and became a great friend. And I would speak to John about once a week, every day until he died.
I think that's the thing about you from the beginning, and I'd see the Geils Band from the 70s on. There would always be a story about any song that you guys covered, and it was like an education for people in the suburbs. We could go, wait, let me remember that name. Let me go back and check out. And even here, you name check Bobby Womack, and I was thinking, I hope some young guy's being turned on
Well, thank you. You know, Bobby, I love Bobby, and we were going to do a duet together on this record, and it was so strange. The song that we were going to work on, I was cutting it, and as soon as I got out of the studio, Kenny said to me, the producer said, "Pete, you won't believe what I just got on my phone." I said, "What?" It said, "Bobby Womack passed away." And I just couldn't believe it. And so I went back in and cut the introduction because Don Covey was a great songwriter I wrote the song with.
Yeah.
And he and I wrote my first solo record, Lights Out. And Don, if people are not familiar, he wrote Mercy, the Stones recorded, "Have Mercy, have Mercy." He wrote Chain of Fools for Aretha Franklin. And I don't know what you got, but you sure got me for Little Richard. And he was, quite a talent and a great songwriter, a great singer. And so, what we did with the Geils Band was we try to pay homage to the musicians and music and songs like Smokey Robinson or First I Look at the Purse or Otis Rush or John Lee Hooker, not unlike what the Stones did,
Sure.
Or the Beatles, for that matter. Many young Beatle fans didn't know Twist and Shout or Money or Smokey Robinson songs or Carl Perkins. So they really turned a lot of people on, and they weren't trying to, take the songs away. They were trying to pay homage to all these artists that, inspired them.
Yeah, so many of those English kids would come over and they'd be, "Hey, here's your own music. Back at you,"
What I think is so interesting about that is when a young person is interested in music or really any kind of art, there is this thing of having to be confident, to put yourself out there. But it seems to me like if your passion is within the music, then it almost feels like it's disconnected from you. It seems like then you can move forward because that's where you have your focus.
Right. If you love the music first and foremost, no matter what happens with that, you're okay.
Well, yeah, if you notice with a lot of painters, they go back and look at the old masters and it inspires them in the work they do. And it's similar to jazz musicians. They'll go back and look at earlier pieces and inspire them as certain musicians. And I think with rock and roll is it's the same thing. I think with rock, there's this stigmata because rock was created originally for young kids.
Right.
And so people think that these young kids, when they saw Elvis, they started, getting inspired, Buddy Holly, people like that. And then when the Beatles came out, another generation got inspired. But people always think of it as music for young.
Right.
And then as you get older, they figure, well, why are you still rocking and rolling?
Yeah.
Because they don't realize it's an art form. So it's just like movie directors or painters, that's what we do.
Yeah, there's no reason. We were talking about Bobby Womack, but I also thought of you immediately when I heard Merle Haggard passed away because you did that song with him on your last album.
Midnight Souvenirs, there was a song called It's Too Late for Me, and that was one of the greatest thrills of my career, was sitting in a studio, sitting right next to Merle, having him cut a song that Will Jennings and I put together, and it was unforgettable. And Merle was such a great influence on me. I was a fan from his early days. But Ron, sometimes you meet an artist that you admire and you get disappointed in the person. The thing about Merle is, as great an artist he was, that's how great a person he was. And so my admiration for him grew even, stronger and deeper because he became, we'd sit on his bus and he would turn me on to music and ask me, "Pete, did you hear that Bob Wills song so-and-so, or that Lefty song?" And he was all about the music and sharing it. And that's why he was so great, besides, being such an incredible singer, incredible guitar player, and one of our great songwriters.
Yeah, just a fantastic songwriter, which sometimes gets forgotten because he was such a big star.
Right.
But great. On this album, the Stranger that you do,
right,
it reminds me of that kind of roots country music. It doesn't sound like Nashville now, you know what I mean? But more of a different type of country.
Well, it's funny, Ron, that you bring up Stranger, because Stranger was a song that was originally recorded by Lefty Frizzell. And Lefty Frizzell was an artist that gave Merle his start.
Yeah.
And Merle copied his vocal pattern after Lefty Frizzell. And this is a really obscure Lefty Frizzell song, and I did it with the whole band. And but there was an original version I just did with myself and guitar, and that's the one we chose for the record because it just seemed to be most intimate. But it again, Merle plays into that because Merle turned me on to it.
So everything, you know, it's always wonderful how that you realize that everything is so connected. You know, music is a great way to see that metaphor of life.
Well, it is connected. It depends on the musician because, you know, I know musicians that are not too generous, that don't really have that quest or desire to search. But the ones I tend to hang with and the ones I tend to admire are the ones that do have that, you know, great yearning. I mean, you look at people, even somebody like, you know, bands like U2, the way that what they did for B.B. King. It was so important and so meaningful. And plus B.B. King, you know, showed them and turned them on to a whole aspect that their whole album, Rattle and Hum, was based on. You know, their real introduction to the blues because they came up, you know, loving the Pixies and David Bowie and Velvet Underground. They really weren't aware of the blues as a form until much later.
And you, of course, have never lost that thing that you had from the early days, that never have lost that love for music, not just performing it. And, you know, I've said this a million times. I think you're one of the greatest frontmen of all time. I think the Geils Band, when it's clicking, are as good as any band that's ever played live. But your albums go into even a different space than that.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know quite how to follow that one.
Well, but that's the thing. Is even though I've been a fan of yours for a long time, I still see growth, which is how many people get to have that no matter what your occupation or art form is. You know.
Thank you. You know, I with this record, at first I was wondering why does one want to make a record in, you know, this day and age where, you know, the music comes out and it just immediately escapes and it just, you know, it's just out there. And I figure, well, that's what I do. And that's, you know, I still love the music. And I guess the music that I love is where you could connect the artist with the song.
Right.
So why I love Merle Haggard is I believe the words he's saying. Why I love, you know, somebody like Otis Redding, you know, when he Dock of the Bay, you feel Otis in that. And when you hear Aretha, you feel Aretha. When you hear Hank Williams, you know he's going through what he's singing. And so those are the artists that I, you know, sort of gravitated to. And you try, I don't know if I succeed, but you try to do that where you try to connect, you know, the singer and the song and make the song valid to where you are at in life. So Peace of Mind, you know, it's about the trials and tribulations that are going on in the world and where do you fit in this time and space and where time is ticking and you just don't know.
Yeah.
It's all about that.
And, you know, I mean, you kind of, you know, came up in the 60s yourself in this journey. What was the, you know, the fact that Vietnam was going on and still civil rights, but what was the music scene like in Boston at that time? Did you feel like you were in the right place? Because a lot of people were either in Detroit or San Francisco or New York.
Well, I grew up in New York and was hitchhiking all around. And long story, I ended up in Boston. And the music scene in Boston was really strong because Boston had a great folk scene going on. People like Joan Baez and Bob Dylan and Eric Van Schmidt and Dave Van Ronk would come up there quite a lot and stay up there, and Joan Baez came from there. And then there was a great jazz tradition. You had some really great jazz clubs, and a lot of the jazz players, you know, from Count Basie and many bands came from the Massachusetts area, Boston area. And then the rock scene was pretty good because you had all the colleges and there were all these clubs. Yeah. And so all the schools had all these fraternities and they would have homecoming. So as a band, you could actually pay your rent and work 5 times a week, 5 nights a week. And there was a place in Boston called the Combat Zone. And there was a street that was filled with nothing but clubs. And you can work there. We did 7 sets a night, 40 on, 20 off. They were all kind of run by the mob, which was, you know, no secret back then. Guy would come up to you and say, look, you guys, I want you to do 40 minutes on, 20 minutes off. I don't want any cursing. I don't want you guys looking neat. I don't want your hair all hanging out in front of your faces. You're going to have a lot of people in here and no cursing, or you ain't walking out of here the same way you walked in. We would finish our set. He would walk up to you and he said, "You did very well, fellas." And he'd take out a wad of cash, pay us. We'd say, "Thank you." He said, "Can we come back?" He said, "Come on back tomorrow." And that's how we got our start.
Yeah.
In the Combat Zone, which was very much like 8th Avenue and 42nd Street in the way back years when 42nd Street was really 42nd Street.
Yeah, no kidding.
And 8th Avenue was really 8th Avenue.
Do you miss that kind of...
oh, yeah, I miss it. Because, it was real. Because people, it changed when drugs really infested the cities. But before, when people were just sitting around smoking marijuana, but when, coke and crack and heroin kind of came into place and became so prevalent as the economic stature of cities started to crumble and as a lot of the jobs started falling out and as things started being built elsewhere. Because when I grew up in the Bronx, everything in my house was made in the United States.
Sure.
The radio, the clothes, the shoes, the belts, the beds, the mattress, the refrigerator, just everything. And, that's all changed. And so, but in the 60s, back then, those areas were filled with characters, people, hustlers on the street, but there wasn't a kind of danger that eventually happened. So there was an innocence and there was an availability of musicians and people. And there was a great documentary I advise people to see. It's called AKA Doc Pumis.
Oh, yeah, I loved it.
Good. Doc Pumis was a songwriter, and he wrote many songs for the Drifters and Elvis Presley, and he wrote the great Save the Last Dance for Me. Mm. But in that, he talks about, it shows the avenue when all the hustlers and people, and they were so rich, and the songwriting came out of all these kind of characters, these Broadway characters. Yeah. And so much of that is gone, which is sad.
And that, of course, is like a lifeblood for you because that's where you kind of get your creativity and your juice from, right? I mean,
I did, yeah.
Yeah. I just always think of like Floyd's Hotel where you guys are sitting around. That was always, that your band in the 70s looked like street guys. You looked like you were selling, stolen goods or whatever.
Well, we weren't selling stolen goods, but we were street guys. And we were all like, living in apartments of floors with, bad, mattresses on the floor. And we didn't have very much money, but we had one thing we had was lots and lots of 45s, I don't mean guns, lots of records and lots of albums. And we just loved going to music. And it was accessible. I mean, rents weren't high. There was a lot of clubs. You didn't have the insurance problems. And so clubs were pretty, so you could go see, in one night, you could see Miles Davis or John Coltrane, or you could see Bob Marley or Van Morrison or Sun Ra or the Geils Band. And, they were playing all in one night in Boston.
And for you, too, I mean, there was the thing of whatever the Geils Band played with, because there was always 2 or 3 names on the bill. It never really stacked up like, these 3 bands have the same sound.
No, you could be, it could be a jazz artist, a country artist, and the Geils Band, or a blues artist, and and Bill Graham was really responsible for that. Bill Graham was responsible for really taking like eclectic acts and putting them together. And I remember one show he put together was it was Captain Beefheart, Little Feat, and Geils Band. And I have a photograph of all of us standing on stage, and it was the rattiest equipment. Now it'd be called vintage equipment. People would be paying high dollars for it. But then it was like these funky old amps, that held together by tape and gaffer tape. But we would go out there and do our thing.
I think that's just, and you guys lived on the road. I remember, I grew up in Delaware County, right outside of Philly. I thought you were a local band there for a while. You were playing so much.
I know. We played about 260 nights a year for like a decade.
Yeah.
And we just get in a station wagon and go one place to another. But Philly, was a big spot for us, Philadelphia, because a lot of the schools, a lot of places, the clubs, wherever it was, Delaware. I remember meeting a young George Thorogood.
Sure, Newark.
Yeah, and once we were on the highways, we never stopped.
Well, the new album, again, man, he just knocks another one out of the park. It's a cure for loneliness. And as I said, this is a man who can get the whole room dancing, or he can just lean back and break your heart. And I saw you a couple of years ago, and the show was just amazing and everything I wanted it to be. And I'm proud to be a fan, man. I'm really, really.
Well, thank you.
Here is, let's take it out with Peace of Mind. Great to see you again, Peter.
Thank
see
you,
you
Ron.
next
Thank
time.
you, Gail.
Thank you so much.
That's Peter Wolf, his new album, A Cure to Loneliness, available now and in stores and online, peterwolf.com. How cool was that?
That was so cool. And it really is such a phenomenal album.
You dig it, huh?
I really do. He does really cool. I love people who their passion is like right there. You can kind of feel that he's still so passionate.
It's the exact opposite of Chris Stanley when you think about it.
Where's your passion?
It's everywhere.
Ask your brain.
Where's your show?
Where's your show, Chris?
Where's your show?
I've been watching a lot of Netflix.
I really like Netflix. This is head just trying coming up a little bit, it's Unmasked with Dice Clay, and Chris Stanley has put together first responders for the people who tweet to Dice at the end of this.
That's at The Real Dice Clay, and you could win a signed copy of Andrew Dice Clay's book, The Filthy Truth, signed by Andrew Dice Clay, and his Benson and Hedges cigarette, which I took from the Unmasked room.
Creep.
You are a creep, but just imagine what it must have been like. Everyone clears out, and Chris just slithers in and grabs that cigarette.
I can't believe
like
this
such
fucker.
a weirdo.
I know. That's what he would do to the baby as he was fiddling about.
Fiddle about! Do you think it's all right
to leave the boy with Chris Stanley?
No.
As I think it's all right. As I think it's all right.
That was the worst singing in history.
So tweet at The Real Dice Clay to get a chance to win the cigarette I got for you, the listener, and this signed copy of The Filthy Truth.
You got it for yourself.
Fiddle about. Then I just gave it to the listeners for you. You've never smoked Benson and Hedges, right?
Never smoked a Benson. I
Why
smoked a
don't you do
Pall
this?
Mall.
Next week, come in with a pack of Benson and Hedges
You know?
and see how they roll.
Okay, I will.
Try them on for size. Take them out for a spin.
I like the sound of that.
Because you know,
Rest them a little.
like you fiddle about with them sticky butts.
Feel comfortable.
Big J has those fucking Uncle Ernie gloves that he wears.
Yeah, that's true. He was wearing like riding gloves or something, wasn't he?
Oh.
Uncle Ernie?
No, he's just wearing the fingerless gloves.
Oh, he is. Just regular.
Like, yeah. And literally, when I was with BL the other day, she had fingerless gloves because she ripped that glove and there was no finger there.
Oh.
Here's I don't know whether you can see that on the computer.
Yeah.
But the gloves that she had, which she was calling, some kind of old name that was nicer way of saying it. Antique or something.
Sure.
They had pen marks all in the fingertips. Like old, like they had been dipped in old ink. They were so fucking gross.
The size of them looked like gardening gloves a little bit.
She acted like it was a really classy thing. She had the name of the brand. Yeah, she had the name of the brand from whatever.
Sure.
But this is what I didn't know about her. She was freaked out about her hands being seen. As crazy as she is, because I'm like, take off the fucking gloves. They're dirty. You've ripped them. Your fucking fingerless finger is hanging out.
Yeah, you're calling more attention
than
you would ever know.
And I didn't know, like, she had an ego about this that I didn't expect. When we're driving back, she's like, I assumed that they would have a makeup crew because we're doing this thing. So she was totally weirded out. about the lighting. I think this is shit guys don't think about.
They don't think about
They're just like, someone said I look like shit. They look like shit. That's how guys do. You know what I mean? Like, they don't fucking care. If a guy remarks on how you look, that guy seems gay to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But she was weirded out about it and didn't tell me till after. She was like, I can't believe they didn't have a makeup crew or work the lighting on me. And I'm like, it's not a fucking film. It's not a film where I'm going to sit there and tent the lighting. And no guy would ever come in and ask for makeup. There's nobody that would do that show.
I'm worried about looking really washed out.
Yeah.
Coming out of winter here, guys.
Yeah.
So, not looking my rosiest.
Guys just think to themselves, God, I look really hungover in that picture.
Pale.
It's weird that I wasn't drinking. All right, want to break here?
Yeah.
And we'll come back with the Andrew Dice Clay Unmasked. When we get back, Chris is going to tell you how you can be a big winner, not only of a signed Dice Clay book, but also a Benson and Hedges. Well, I know his DNA is on because he was popping it in his mouth. I kept thinking he was going to light up.
Me too. Yeah, I texted, get an ashtray.
Dice Clay Unmasked when we get back. Bennington. It's a Bennington show coming up in just a couple minutes. It's Unmasked with Andrew Dice Clay. His TV show starts this weekend. I saw 6 episodes and they're really funny. They're really crazy as shit. They are.
I'm very excited to see I saw the first one and it was great. So I'm very excited to see the rest.
Here's the thing that's always amazing to me. Do you know what's like weird about you that you could do to annoy people? Because it's a big part of the show that you have to know what it is that you do that bugs people and then do it for comedic purposes.
Yeah, and not just with a certain intimacy with one person, with the world. To know what, you might be able to figure that out, like how to like bust someone's balls who you're really close with. But to know what it is about you that's really going to drive people crazy all the time.
Dude, and I bring this up in the Unmasked, but I've heard from so many comics of the weird stuff that Dice does. And in this show, he wants to just stop and discuss these weird things and, call people in for it. And he's just fucking doing it to annoy the shit out of people.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Who's the guy who plays Milkshake? I've seen him in a million things.
Oh,
he's amazing.
It's going to drive me nuts.
Well, look, we're gonna IMDb.
No, don't.
You don't have to go crazy. Let's use a shortcut.
Kevin Corrigan.
Yeah, what else has he done big? I know he was...
he's been in a million things.
Yeah, I mean, he's always great, but this might be my favorite thing I've ever seen him do.
He was in The Departed. He was in Pineapple Express. He was in Superbad.
He was great.
Goodfellas?
He was in Goodfellas.
What are you doing, Goodfellas?
Like, he's like a little bit part, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
He was on that show Grounded for
You
Life.
gotta talk into a mic.
He was on that show Grounded for Life.
No, is his mic on all the time?
Mm-mm.
No.
It's not.
Did you just put it on?
Yes, I just put it on.
I thought he's not sure. Grounded for Life. I don't know this show.
It was on Fox with the red-haired dude. I forgot his name, but he was pretty good on that show.
He was in True Romance. He was Marvin. He was one of the hitmen.
Yep.
At the end.
I didn't know that. Sitting there watching the game, fucking all happy about the Phils losing, aren't you, you prick?
Yeah.
You know when I was happy? When you lost the fucking World Series.
You were so happy,
That was
Ben.
great. That was great when they lost.
I wasn't happy about that at all.
By the way, when Villanova won, I was texting to my friends, this is the greatest day of our lives. Just totally stole it from you. Because that was my favorite thing that happened during your whole madness.
That was a wonderful, it was a roller coaster.
32 fucked up years. And now this.
It was all worth it at the time before they choked. Bunch of losers.
That must be painful for you, Vito, to hear him speak that way.
New season, new day. I don't care.
Yeah. Day of losing.
We're 1-1 already, so we're up to a great start.
Well, you got 160 games. Just fucking relax,
Really?
Vito.
Come on, man.
Jesus Christ.
Right?
So, you know what? Maybe you think Every day is the series. It's not. You know, you're ruining my excitement about this Unmasked, Tito. You know, he's all excited, like, oh, this is a great day. And next thing I hear him acting like he's going to fucking go over every little bit of the Mets schedule.
No.
As if he gets paid whether they win or lose.
We're worrying about dice. Let's not worry about the Mets.
We're not worried.
Somebody wrote about you being a creep for stealing that cigarette. And they brought up that years ago someone stole my cigar. From Bob Saget, which was like 7 years ago. That's weird that they would remember that. But I was doing the same thing. I had a cigar. Then I get up to say nice things to everybody. One of the fuckers in the audience stole it. So I was bitching about it later. And a guy calls and said, you know, we're big fans. Me and my friend stole it and then we smoked it. I go, who would fucking do that?
That's strange.
There's a lot of sucking on it.
Yeah. And
it's basically like kissing me.
And also, you know, a cigar is a lot more expensive than one single cigarette.
Yeah, that's right. You think I'd see fucking $22 coming in from them.
They mess with your money. They mess with your emotions. That's the thing. And they mess with your paper, with your coins.
Well, you can win this cigarette. Smoke it if you got it. Or simply put it in a small jar next to your bedstand. Well, not next to your bedstand, on your bedstand.
In your bed.
Crazy. You put it on...
Put it on the bed. Next to the bedstand.
Yeah, you put it next to the bedstand. You might end up stepping on it when you get up to take a hot piss.
All you have to do for a chance to win it is tweet at the Real Dice Clay and be a first responder. You get a chance to win his cigarette, unlit Benson and Hedges, and a copy of The Filthy Truth, Andrew Dice Clay, signed by Andrew Dice Clay.
All right, so we'll be back to remind you after this. But this is always fun. Dice is hilarious. He's filled with stories doing this, and you're going to have to admit that after what he did on Vinyl and with Woody Allen and on Entourage and now his own show, he's really turning into this great actor.
Yeah.
It's amazing and it's very cool. And he still wears these big glasses and he's got the leather going and he's still Dice. Oh, hey, and make sure for yourself, you can just count the number of times Jeff Gurian gets a shout out from Dice. This is Unmasked with Andrew Dice Clay.
Like reborn.
Right.
As a performer, as an actor.
Well, this is the truth. This is, your acting is really getting recognized after this many years.
I'm excited to talk about the acting stuff. I really am. You know, and I've, actually in the crowd, you know Jeff Gurian.
Sure.
Okay. We've had some talks about this, you know, with acting versus the comedy. And I'm really shy when it comes to talking about the acting stuff. I mean, I've been a comic nearly 40 years, just about. So, and I know the things I've done. I know the size it went to, the size of the arenas, and how big the tours were. So that's easy for me to talk about. But when you're reading things that people are writing about the acting, I'm going, please, not that. You know, I'm capable.
Right. But, you know, Joan Rivers, all she cared about was acting, you know, and she... one thing that I remember the last time we sat down, you described how you put the Dice character together, and I had never heard another comic kind of work from the outside in. It fascinated me. And so it is, stand-up is a form of acting, don't you think?
100%.
Yeah.
And it's where I'm left alone.
Right.
When I'm on stage, you know, like now I'm not lighting the cigarette.
Right. And you're dying to.
And you know, I want to, you know, but yet, if this was a comedy club,
right.
You know, nobody's going to start choking. Nobody's falling down.
Yeah.
Like when you're at Starbucks and 100 feet away, somebody's going,
yeah.
I'm going, yeah, that's me, right?
Yeah.
It's not the bus shitting that stuff in your face. It's me. It's not the thousands of cars driving by. It's me, or the planes, or the chemicals coming out of the top of some kind of stack. You know, when you see that soot, it's all me. So at least when I'm on stage, nobody could bother me.
Sure. when you're on stage, that's your place.
Well, it's also when I'm just left alone by everything.
Yeah, but acting doesn't feel that way when you're in a performance in a movie, in a TV show.
Well, that's different because you're doing the scenes and it's piece by piece. And, when I did vinyl, I got so in my head, and I'm calling Marty from the West Coast going, I see this going a little deeper. And he's just the greatest guy in the world.
Right.
I mean, all we did was laugh on that set. And, because, number one, I had to do the entire, I didn't have to, do it this way, but I did the entire part just stoned out of my mind. So I made damn sure I learned my lines because this guy was in a lot of pain, the character I played in that show. And so I wanted to go as deep as that guy would go, and it got to the level where I'm on the set and Marty's coming over to tell me something. I'm going, not now. I got this. He's going, but Dice, I'm the director. This is what I do. He came over to me one day and he goes, and Bobby Cannavale's there, who's just amazing, and Bo Tito, and, these are like great guys. On top of being great actors, they're just great guys to hang with. And Marty leans over the table, and we're surrounded by about 100 people, fucking. It was a sex club scene.
Yeah.
So I got to focus on that. And I'm also stoned, and I'm looking and popping wood, and Marty leans over the table, and he's going, Dice, I'm thinking about changing the lens. And I'm looking at him going, whatever you want to do. That's not what I do. You're the director. How many times I got to go through this with you?
Yeah.
Cannavale's like looking at Bo and going, what is happening with these two guys? But he walks away just laughing.
Right.
Because he knew how in it I was.
Yeah.
So it was an incredible, to work with some of the great, Woody Allen, what we talked about last time. These are the greatest of the great. So it's been an honor to work with them.
And both of them, you just got a call out of the blue.
Well, Woody, I auditioned. I read some pages, which that was funny in itself because I went through it one time. Because I don't have patience, the lady, the casting woman took me in another room, and she goes, all right, let's go through this. And I read it one time and I go, all right, I got this, let's go back in there. And she goes, what do you mean you got this? It's Woody Allen. I go, well, if he's the kind of guy I think he is, he'll get that I got it.
Right.
Meaning I understand what it might not be word for word, but I got it in my head. And, I read one, I went through it one time with him, and he's just standing right here. Like if he was looking at me and you do it, like he wasn't sitting in a chair, he was there like this, like this. And, I'm going, if you want, I could do it a different way, whatever you want me to do. I was very respectful to the guy. And he goes, well, you have the essence. It was perfect. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll see you there then, right? But I didn't know for sure,
right.
And then a couple of days later, I was in Vegas, when I saw a half a text from my manager, like, you got and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. So I did the Woody thing, and then the Scorsese thing was funny because I was out just, fucking around in Vegas all day, gambling, and, I'm getting ready to go on stage, at the Hard Rock that night. And my wife goes, did you call your manager, Bruce? And I'm going, no, for what? I'm gambling all day. She goes, well, don't you check your text or anything? I go, well, is he all right? And she's going, well, I'm not supposed to say anything. I go, yeah, but now you gotta. And Eleanor Kerrigan, Eleanor, she was bringing me on stage. And she goes, I'll just say it, you got the Scorsese part. And I go, what part? She goes, that rock and roll show he's doing. And it really did flip me out. I mean, I went on stage. I was like thrown back. I had to tell the audience, I go, you know, I got to tell you, I just got this fucking thing. You're not even going to believe. Like I'm talking to one other person.
Right.
But it's a theater full of people. I go, so my mind's a little blown right now, so it's going to take a minute to get into this shit, you know. And I'm like asking like a guy in the front row. I'm going, Joey, do you believe this? You know, I got fucking Scorsese now. What am I going to do with this here? You know, but it's just amazing to work with him because he does let you climb in it.
Sure.
You know.
And, you know, for the time that you were coming of age, Scorsese was everything, particularly to New York guys.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, he was somebody that I would dream of working with. But the way I got Dice done.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. See, because I live, you know, by my own rules. I always did. So when I did the Woody thing, you know, I met with every producer in town, wanted to meet me, what projects they have, trying to figure out a show for me, like what would be right for me. And, you know, this fucking guy, Marty. So we're doing rehearsals in Long Island, and I was going to come back in a month now to film. So I came in to rehearse, and I met with him. He just wanted to hang with me the day before rehearsing. So I hung in his house with him, and we just got along the way me and you got along the minute we met. You know, we're just easy. And we're laughing, you know. So we're on the set, and I want to capture this thing, like, on my phone. Like, I want to take him off guard. Because I talked to him about this little, like, pet project. You know, every comic, every actor's got that pet project. We keep it in a drawer. If you happen to meet the right guy, you might take it out and go, this might be a good movie to do. But he liked the idea. We talked about it in his house. So, you know, I'm just like holding my phone, but I'm filming, you know, and I come into him, you know, and as I'm walking in, I'm talking to my camera going, you know, I got to get Marty to call Rob Reiner for me, you know. So now I come in and he's dealing with like production people in this house, this mansion in Long Island, figuring out for when we come back what we got to do. And, you know, I sort of got the camera on him, and I'm like, yeah, Marty, I wanted to talk to you about a comic in the con, you know. And he goes, you know what? He's like, I'm thinking of directing that. I think I want to do that. I go, no. You got a lot on your plate, this and that. He goes, no, I do, but I really like it, and I'll make time for it. I go, no, do me a favor. Can you just, like, get Rob Reiner on the phone for me, you know? And he stops dead in his tracks. He's going, wait a minute. I'm telling you, I want to direct, and you want me to, and he's in front of his people, you know.
Right.
And you want me to call Rob? I go, yeah, what's this asshole doing, sitting around doing nothing, right? You're doing all these, you know. And he's like, well, I'm insulted, you know. And I go, yeah, like I give a fuck, right? Yeah. And I start leaving the room, and I turn around because it's not enough. I need more. I got to push the button. And I go, you know, Marty, I'm going to take a little break because I don't want to, like, get mad at you. You know? And he goes, you don't want to, and now it's from across the room, but I'm getting him, you know? And he goes, you don't want to get mad at me? I don't want to get mad at you. And I go, yeah, everybody's a tough guy, all right? And I walk out, and I shut my phone. And then I come back in and I hug him. I go, wait, you see this? I got this. I got to show it to you, you know. And I show him, and he's laughing, you know. It was like almost. I'm going. What a great sense of humor, obviously. So now I come back to Hollywood, and I go to these producers that I met with, Sean and Brian First, who did movies like The Cooler, which is my favorite movie they did. Movie. And I take out my phone. I go, I got to show you guys something. And I put it on, and they watch this thing, and I go, that's the show. Dice ruins everything. He doesn't care who it is, what the situation is, if it's the biggest shot of a lifetime, he just ruins everything. You know, and they brought in Scott Armstrong, who helped me ruin everything in the series. You know, and created, you know, what the whole story should be, and read up on me and met with me. And so Dice, the TV show, is like a hybrid of the craziness I live in my life.
Right.
Like my son's band, Still Rebel, just got done with their first album, right? Mm-hmm. And the way I got the money for the first album was gambling at blackjack because I've been, we all go through different problems. Everybody in this room, it's tax season, the whole thing, but my taxes are a lot higher than your taxes, and I can't afford my taxes, so I really wanted my boys to be able to do this album, and so I would call my son, like, from Vegas, going, all right, I made another 10 grand, book the studio, we got this. So we did but when I got done getting the money for the album is when I now stopped gambling again, just done with it, because it was never fun. It was always about the money. I never sit down going, boy, there's a lot of fun giving them $50,000. I'll be back tomorrow. I got another 50 for you.
Yeah.
I won't even play. I'll just drop it off. How's that sound?
Yeah.
No, but I'm pretty good at the game, so it all balanced out in my favor that I got this money, and because of that, it's a great album, but Vegas was nice enough to pay for it.
Right.
But then I ended the gambling career. I wish I could end the cigarettes the way I end the gambling.
But this is what Dice is about. And
that's what I'm saying.
This is the weirdest
reality.
Thing, that you're so meta with it because you know that you do these things, some of them that are very self-destructive.
Yeah.
And you're like, but that's funny. It's fucking
also,
crazy.
You know what? It's also marching to the beat of your own drum.
Right.
You know me well enough to know I live by my own rules. It's like I create my own world. And it's, some of it's nutty and other parts of it are fucking crazier than that.
Right. But so you really will, if you have 25 free minutes, maybe take the casino manager into the other room and just talk crazy to him for 25. And you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're fucking.
Well, I love to affect people.
Right.
So even if I'm just bored,
right,
I could pull something like that, what you're talking about with the ATM machine.
Right, it's hysterical.
And the guy could look at you and go, Dice, you're playing, for some serious money here. What are you worried about, $10, $5, Yeah, it's the point. And normally I'm with, like, one of my best friends, and, just entertain them. I'll do that.
Right. But that it's driving people crazy.
Yeah.
And you still enjoy doing it. That's your thing.
Always.
Yeah. And you don't care whether life is up or down for you, because it seems like you're
obviously you want life to be up.
Right.
I'm a very driven guy. That's why all this has happened. Not that, I've always done things like I started telling you last time to have a reason to do something.
Yeah.
It was never just all about me. Like, if I was just, didn't have like much family, there wouldn't really be a reason. But when I went through my divorce and I brought up my sons, it was like I need to teach them how to live life.
Yeah.
So I really didn't care about the career at that point. It was more about just raising them, that I don't have two dummies under my roof.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to teach them everything. And, I preach that. If you have kids, it's your responsibility, it's your obligation to teach them, I always, with my sons run into kids they went to school with, and then you walk away and they go, yeah, this kid, he went through this, he's been through rehab already, his parents would go on these vacations and just leave, and the kid's just a walking zero, and it's all the parents' fault. So when I went through that time, it was really just about my sons. That's it.
But your parenting seems to be...
That's the one place I'm solid.
And you love them unconditionally, and you're physically with them more than a lot of other parents.
I called Gurion from the studio. I go, I'm out here smoking weed. They're inside recording.
Yeah.
Because, my son Dylan really produced the album. He knows his music. And, we got a call this week that Tracy Guns from LA Guns wants them to tour with them. And he, his agent called me and said, this guy hasn't recommended a band in 25 years. But, him and one of the guys from Bon Jovi and another guy from Rod Stewart listened to that whole album like 2 weeks ago and said, we haven't heard something like this since the 70s. It hasn't been recorded anymore. So I'm really proud of what they're accomplishing with Still Rebel. And I'll even say it on the air, go to SoundCloud, and the song Breathin' that they put up 2 weeks ago, There's over 70,000 hits already. Rob Rush from pulled it off of Sirius, not off of SoundCloud, and started playing it on the Shark on FM, and called me up. He goes, I want more. This is like 1978 all over again.
Right.
So, but I also saw the rock explosion coming, when I did vinyl. And now with Guns N' Roses back together and Jethro Tull and AC/DC and all these great rock bands, because people want real rock again. And my son's always looked at it, Dylan's only 21, writes every song, and he always looked at it like, we just want to bring back real rock.
Yeah.
But
that was also.
Well, when did you learn about it?
Right. Yeah.
Zeppelin was the 70s.
But were you playing this music for them when they were kids?
No. Well, I play all kinds of music. I mean, I live my life to a soundtrack.
Yeah.
If you're in my house in the morning, you're going to hear everything from Sammy Davis Jr. to Tony Bennett to Lena Horne to all those great standard guys, even Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet and Sinatra, everybody.
Right.
And then nighttime, the vibe changes. Then it is about rock.
Yeah.
Then it is about dance. Then it is about rap.
Yeah.
There's always music going on in the house. So, when a parent goes to me, when my kids were like 12 years old, whatever, going, this one fucking jerk off asshole, this guy, he's got me on the phone telling me, I make my son listen to Beethoven and Mozart. And I go, what'd they sound like? Because I never heard them. I go, you're actually pushing your kid into the corner, he's going to hate the music and he's going to hate you. Just play music. Whatever it is that you like, they catch it. Trust me, they're smart. But yeah, you can't force instruments. You can't force music or, you gotta let, if there's any kind of talent that a kid finds in himself, you just, encourage it.
Right.
That's it. That's it. Don't go, you didn't practice today. Then they're going to take the piano and saw it in half. You know what I mean? They don't want to be told to play something. You play an instrument. You don't get forced to do an instrument. You know what I mean?
Right, sure.
That's why I always believed.
And that, but isn't it kind of cool now?
My parents did go, Andrew, we want you to become the most vicious animal to ever walk the comedy stage in history. I did that on my own.
Yeah.
And they encouraged it.
And they loved it.
And my father would go, I don't give a fuck. He'd say, I don't give a fuck how dirty you are. Just be funny. Yeah. That's all it's about. Be funny. And that's what it's about to me. It's always about the funny.
So you're really kind of passing that kind of parenting that you had on with your own kids.
Well, they're playing for years.
Yeah.
By the time my son Dylan was 14, he was offered record deals. They were playing places like the Whiskey. They were babies. And he got overwhelmed. He put down the guitar. He didn't play it for 3 years. And when I did my special, Indestructible, he now graduated high school. And I said, if you want, we could do this as a family. You could play one of your songs to bring me on. He just picked up the guitar and started playing. He didn't play it for 3 years. It's like, I don't even get that. That I can't do. Like my son Max, who drums, he'll play 3 hours a day. He just loves to practice. Dylan will only pick up the guitar to write a song. He just hears it in his head. It's interesting to watch.
There's a mystery there, right? There's that thing that you almost have a spirituality when it comes to writing a song.
You don't fuck with that stuff. Yeah. When you get world-class musicians listening to your boys, coming to see them, like when Duff McKagan came to see them about 8 months ago with his wife, and he looks at me after the third song and he's going, Dice, they're just ready. They might still be real young, but they're just ready to go. I go, take them. Get them out of my house already.
Yeah.
1:00 a.m. rehearsals, and there is no living room. It's a studio. But I don't care. There's 4 sets of drums all over you could trip over drum sets and amplifiers and guitars. But I love it because they love it so much.
Yeah.
So I just encourage it and hang with them and listen and, and I know them. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, people don't realize that when your kids get to be adults, it's kind of cool if you have the right relationship with them. It's so different.
Yeah, but it starts from a young age.
Right.
Or else you just lose them.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't even know who your own kids are when they're in their 20s. Like that, I never saw it that way.
Yeah.
I wasn't like that with my parents, and I'm not like that with my boys.
You're always comfortable with your parents and always comfortable with your kids.
Yeah, you don't know what we went through with the weed in the house.
Yeah.
For years. When Dylan was like in like his first couple of years of high school, and I realized that Max liked to smoke weed. And I went through a big thing with my left eye. And when I went through that, this retina guy goes, "You're going to get a medical marijuana card. It's not like years ago. You buy it. It's just the plant. It'll chill you out." So I'd smell the weed coming from Max's room. So I walk in there one night. He's got the big smile, the big pot smile. You know, I'm going, "What's going on in here?" He goes, "No, you smell it?" You know, and I go, "Smell what?" And he goes, "That skunk." And I go, listen to me. I go, "Look in my eyes. Do I look any different than you right now? You need some weed? You come see me."
Right.
He goes, "I can't believe it." But now his brother, who's in high school, we'd have to wait till he'd go to sleep for school before the party would begin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd smell the pot coming from Max's room, and I go in there all the time, and I go, "Max, if he wakes up," he was like a senior in high school now, Dylan. I'm the father, you know. And everybody in the house is just stoned out. I'm stoned out. My wife Valerie's stoned out. Her mother's stoned out. Max is stoned out.
Yeah.
And I go in there. It's like 2:30. I go, "If he wakes up, we're dead. Do you understand?" You know, and he just looked at me. He goes, "He's not waking up, Dad." And I go, "But how do you know?" He goes, "'Cause he never does." You know, it's like, why was I afraid of the 17-year-old? Because I didn't want him waking up and seeing everybody, you know, just stuffing food in their mouth and blasting music in the backyard like it's 3 PM, only it's 3 at night. You know, it's crazy the way we live. But fun.
Right.
It's just a fun fucking house. It really is.
But you were a guy, you didn't party when you were younger, right? You didn't?
Never.
Never.
I did over 300 arenas without as so much as a glass of wine. You know, I just don't believe in hard drugs at all. You know, if I didn't go through this problem with my eye, I probably wouldn't have ever started really. The only time I smoke a joint is if, you know, some chick came over that I was going to bang, and to loosen her up,
right.
She'd bring a joint. Next thing you know, she's bathing me. You know, that I could deal with, you know. But, yeah, I didn't go out, like, looking for it. It was just about, you know, reaching my goals, reaching my potential. That's how I looked at everything.
By the way, you just throw out that 300 arenas, which is insane. It's got to even seem crazy.
Well, the first tour was 26 cities, ending with the Garden, which became the most famous because it's the most famous arena. But, yeah, my first one was Nassau Coliseum, sold it out in, I think, 48 minutes. You know, and then the Dice Rules tour happened, which was a 26-city tour, which sold out in hours. No internet, no fucking Twitter,
right.
No Instagram. Look at me eating quiche, whatever the fuck these assholes put up there. You know, it's like these fucking girls when you see them on the, you know, it's like somebody coming over. "I have 16,000 followers. I'm a model." You know, and I'm like, you know what? Next time you take a picture, you move your panties to the side. You know, you got 1 million followers. You know, now stick something in your box. You got 10 million. You're the biggest model in the fucking world. You know, it's all about followers. I just can't, you know, I didn't follow anybody. Everybody just followed me into those arenas. It was unreal. You know, did the Rose Bowl with Guns N' Roses between Metallica, over 100,000 people. And I went to see him in L.A. the other night. Yeah. Their first show in 23 years.
With the
Troubadour. Yeah. Unreal. It was the greatest.
A lot of talk came up that you had something to do with getting those guys to talk to each other.
You know, it's absolutely the truth. No, but the reason I'm not making that big of a deal about it because I always loved those guys. And, you know, just like friends of mine that I didn't talk to for years, and then you're just like, why aren't I talking to them from an argument we had 20 years ago?
Yeah.
So you just call them up and you make up. So my son Max, since he's 14, he's 25 now, he always said, Dad, you know you're the only one that could put that band back together. You know, and Jeff Gurian is the first guy to write it up, actually. So I gotta say, because he's in the room and I love the guy. So, and I'd go, at the right time, Max. It's not time right now, because they always loved Guns N' Roses. So when I did my Australian tour, I was in Australia for about a half hour before I ran into Slash at the hotel I was staying at in Sydney. And then I actually didn't even think it was Slash. I thought it was a lookalike. So to test this guy, I go out onto the porch, you know, that's surrounded like this big buffet fucking thing there, whatever they were eating. And I go out and I light a cigarette. I go, you mind if I smoke? And he looks at me and goes, no, Dice. And I go, it is you. I said, I didn't know. Like, what are you doing over here? Like, he goes, he was like opening up, like, he was playing like a national anthem for one of their football games or something. You know, it was just soccer, whatever they wear, you know. I don't follow sports.
No, I understand.
became a performer. So I sit down with this guy and I go, so what are we waiting for exactly? You know, when am I going to see the band again? Like, what was the big argument that you can't fucking make up and get this thing going again? Come on. I go, I see Axl at the Hard Rock in Vegas. You know, you're out here. Duff's over there. I go, it's got to happen. So Slash was very open to it, you know. So now when I got back is when I called Duff, because I really wanted him to come check out my boys' band, and he did. And 2 days later, I was sitting with my boys, hanging out with Tom Mayhew, who's been their road manager from day one, from years ago. And we're all close. So I go, all right, we got to make Axl see what's going on here. So what are we going to do? So what happened is that Slash tweeted on Axl's birthday some really good things about Axl, and that just brought the band back together, and I was thrilled to hear it, because the way I introduced Axl about a year ago at some award show was, you know, where the Beatles started everything. You know, I felt Guns N' Roses peaked it, you know, and I brought Axl on. That's how I felt about rock and roll. So it was like, you guys need to be together. That's it. You know, so, you know, I feel I had something to do with it, and I'm just thrilled they're back, and I'm glad I was at their first show in 23 years, and they were just magical on stage together.
Right away.
I mean, it was just amazing.
Yeah. I remember when those guys broke, it was like somebody made their seventh album as their first album.
Exactly.
You know, they were amazing, and I'd never seen them
And
before.
they're all complicated guys.
Yeah.
They're all, you know, I'm complicated.
Sure.
Musicians are comics are complicated. But, you know, to see them together again, and that they make up, get the fuck on stage and sing.
Right.
I want to see the original band doing Jungle. That's it. Just do it, or there's going to be a problem. That's the level I go to with them, you know.
Yeah.
And they're doing it, and
Yeah.
they're going to sell out the whole world, and I'm thrilled for them.
I saw a picture. It was you, Axl, and Nic Cage, and it looked like fucking three superheroes.
Well, Nic Cage, I hung with Nick the other night at that show.
He was there for it too.
He was there for it too.
Yeah.
We hung out together, and I felt, you know, I loved Nick. I missed doing a film with him and William Dafoe that he just did, because I had to film Dice the series. You know, and it was with Paul Schrader, written and directed.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, you know, you gotta let me do this thing. But they go, we can't let you add the series. And Paul Schrader called the head of Fox 21. But they go, we're doing a series. We can't let him go for a month like that. But, you know, I always wanted to work with Nick, so hopefully it'll happen.
Look at this. So in demand now as an actor.
Well, you know what? It's really exciting.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just excited about everything right now.
And that was all because of the Woody movie, do you think? That
No,
everything...
it all started with Entourage, the last season.
Yeah.
And Doug Ellen called it, you know, because when we met, he said, Dice, I'm going to give you this last season of Entourage, and wait till you see what happens for you. And it really did, you know, so I'll always thank him. He gave me the shot of a lifetime, which doesn't happen too often. You know, it's what, you know, Rodney did many years ago.
Yeah. But I think the difference now is like you even understand who Dice is and who Andrew is and what's funny about that whole thing.
I always understood the two of them.
Yeah.
I am them.
Yeah.
This is what drives me nuts in interviews. Who's
Right.
Dice? Who's Andrew? The bottom line is we're both from Brooklyn. We both like fingerless gloves. We're both wearing leather jackets since I'm 20.
Right.
You know what I mean? We both smoke cigarettes. We share the same fucking closet. I'll put it to you that way. You know?
Yeah.
But when I am on stage as a comic, it is more of one side of me.
Yeah.
It's the comedic side. It's the, you know, I'm talking to couples in the audience that are married. Yeah. Look, is this
Yeah.
your girl? Is this your girl?
Yes.
Look at me when I'm talking to you. All right, so how long are you together with this girl?
About 12 years.
12 years. Now,
Yeah.
now, did you hear how he said that?
Yeah.
He needs my help.
He does need your help.
Because it was the way he moved his head.
I noticed that.
You know, it was like 12 years. Like, is there anything I can do, Dice?
Right.
You know, you got to
Right.
keep it interesting. Yeah. You know, I bet you bang in a bed. Like, who does that? Who does that? Beds
No.
are for sleeping.
Right.
You know, let's say you got you know, like in the kitchens, everything's about the middle, the granite top.
Yeah.
You throw her on the corner. The same area where maybe 48 hours later, it's Thanksgiving and people are dipping chips in dip. And you want to tell your friend, 48 hours ago, I'm smashing my nuts into this animal right where you're eating the chips and dip.
Yeah. So an advice show might be perfect.
I don't want to do an advice. Look what I just gave him.
Just
for
help
nothing.
him. But you're willing to do that walking down
Are
the
you a
street?
carpet guy? Or you an area rug guy? Or you a hardwood floor guy? See, hardwood, that's
Yeah.
a problem for me.
Sure. What's the problem with hardwood?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Burns.
But you say hardwood, like, is like opposed to what? Like softwood? Bouncy
Yeah.
wood? You ever go to someone's house, they go, oh, look at the hardwood floors. I go, like,
Yeah.
as opposed to what? Bungee wood? You know what I mean?
No one has a
You gotta
softwood.
have some carpet in the house if
Yeah.
you're gonna keep your love life alive.
Right.
You throw an area rug in the bathroom. She's doing a makeup. Throw on the floor 5 pumps. Go put your makeup on now. We're going out. You get the night going.
Well, this is so romantic. I gotta.
It's all about romance. Let me tell you something. After 12 years, she'll be texting her own friend. He still cares. He banged me on the area rug. He cares.
Not as hardwood.
Yeah, hardwood.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with that except slip in water?
You know what? Maybe if she gets, she should maybe even move in an area rug herself, though. You know, like
I'm
you
not
never.
saying a woman can't be romantic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you're in the bathroom, maybe you're taking a leak, she happens to walk in, and she
Right.
finishes the job for you. You know, it's nice. It's
It's
loving.
beautiful. Yeah.
Romance.
Yeah.
That's the key.
That's the key.
You grab them by them big kettlebell fucking tits. You know what I'm talking. Come on. I'm not the only guy in the room
No.
here. No, but look at her. Look at her.
Yeah, they're happy. I think they're happy now. I think it worked.
It just never gets old to me.
No.
Really, like my opening act, Wheels, right?
Yeah.
He'll say to me, he goes, when you talk about sex, it's like every time is the first time. He goes, you're 58 years old. And I go, yeah, but it just doesn't get old when something's that fucking good.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
It's still in.
Because if that's old and you're not getting along mentally, you got nothing. Nothing.
I'm going to talk to you about opening acts for a second because I've heard quite a few stories from your opening acts over the years that you've asked them to do some pretty bizarre things and just stay on one topic for 15, 20 minutes at a time. What is that all about? What is?
I don't know what you're saying.
Well, a lot of times you'll tell them just to talk about one topic, and you basically,
when I just challenge them.
yeah, you challenge them
Because I go, don't care what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Care about what's funny. That's all. They'll catch up. Trust me. You got to trust it. When you're a comic, you're up there alone.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to trust your mind. You got to trust the fact that you know how to dig into whatever audience it is and make them laugh at your particular brand of comedy.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to commit to it. And if you can't commit to it, you shouldn't do it.
But sometimes you'll have them throw their act out and just have one topic that they have to stay with.
Yeah, like who? Who are we talking about?
Well, Florentine has brought it up to me.
The best.
Shuli has mentioned it to me.
What I made Shuli do something nuts.
I can't think of it, but he said he went up and tubed him and said he was glad to do it because he knew he'd get back and you'd be laughing.
I wanted him to just talk about something that had nothing to do with him or his act.
Right.
And I say, and just stay on it. Just see if you can find something because even if the crowd's not laughing, I'm just smashing my head against the wall laughing from the silence of the audience.
Right.
And the guy's in front of 3,000 people just eating it.
Yeah.
But that's when I get to laugh. Aren't I allowed to laugh?
Yeah. And he actually said, first of all, he said coming off stage and seeing you happy.
It was the greatest thing.
Yeah.
I think I had him talk about my dog or something. And like, did you ever meet Dice's dog? And I go, and you stay on it no matter what happens. Just stay there. Yeah. And I'm just rolling from it. Yeah, I do stuff like that. Jim Norton would go nuts because I love candy.
Yeah.
And I actually saw him this morning. I was complaining that I couldn't find my like jujubes, whatever it was I was carrying around. Like he goes, I know you love comfort candy and big sweats and because we did a concert one time at Westbury and we stayed at the Garden City Hotel and our rooms connected. And so I come into his room, like this is an hour after the concert, and I'm in like the biggest sweatpants with the giant pockets and a 10X sweatshirt, and he goes, oh, look at you with the comfy shoes and the big sweats full of, and he's going, you got pockets full of candy? You got your Tootsie Rolls? You got your Necco? I go, yeah. He goes, you disgust me. He goes, you're the coolest guy in the world when you're on that stage, and look at you. If your fans would see you in this outfit, but I made sure even in Dice the series, I wear things like that. Because you can't always be in the leather.
Yeah, I love that aspect of it, too, in Dice the series, that a lot of times you're just doing nothing for long periods of time and keeping yourself busy. And by the way, this series is so damn funny, and it's just you. It's just your life.
Yeah, it's funny to have people like laughing at your life.
Yeah.
Your life's a joke to them. Go, this is how this guy fucking lives? Are you kidding me with this here now? Funny.
It is. It's funny as hell, and just the shit that you do to waste time. You're wasting a lot of time.
What are you talking about? Like, give me an example. I love this stuff.
Going to lunch and taking forever to order. The way everybody's in, you pull them into your fucking world.
I'll do it like with waiters.
Yeah.
Like when a waiter will give like the check.
Yeah.
I'll like smile at him and go, "Hey, ask you a question?" Okay, yeah, sure. I go, what's this about down here at the bottom? And he goes, "Oh, that's tax." And I go, "Tax?" I go, I don't pay tax. I just don't believe in it. If I didn't eat it, I don't want to pay for it. And he goes, "Well, everybody pays tax." I go, "But I don't pay tax." So there's a problem. Or else I'll go into like a Smart and Final, where you buy things in bulk. And, you're coming up, you get the big things of paper towels and cartons of water. And like I'll buy like the most giant detergents they have just to have like a bottle of Tide that's 2 feet high that my wife Valerie can't even pick the thing up, And then when the guy tells me how much, like I'll lean into the guy and I go, "No, you don't understand. You got to give me some kind of deal here because," I go, and I'll lean in, Ron, I go, "'Cause I'm talking about cash." And like, what does he have to do with it? Like, he doesn't, he's just charging me. He just works behind the counter. Like, he's not getting to put the money, or else if they have, like, when you go into Bed Bath & Beyond, they have a lot of things where you're paying, where you're checking out. And I'll just like take something and put it in my pocket in front of them. And they'll go, what are you doing? I go, well, aren't these like the giveaways? This is giveaways. And no, they're not giveaways. They're $20. I go, yeah, but look at what I'm buying. I go, you got to throw somebody. You want to keep me as a customer? I'm going to use this. Like, who's going to know about that? Yeah, I once tried to get a window guy. We did something like this in the series, but I got new windows at my house when I had a house in Hollywood, and I try to talk the window guy into just giving me the windows for free. I go, because, but I get real close to the guy, I go, do you understand when people come over, I'm going to say I got windows from you? like Dice uses your windows? And the guy's like, oh, publicity. Yeah. But then I make no living. Because the guy was, he was foreign, so he had broken it. And I just do it to entertain myself. Fun. You make a plumber. Oh, I did something with wheels one time. Oh, my God, this was great. So, I needed a plumber. Okay? There was something wrong with, like, a toilet. So this fucking guy comes over, and I would film everything, because at that time, Sony made, like, really small, like, cameras, but they still took the high 8 tapes. So it was like the size of a cigarette pack, though, and I knew how to really film. I taught myself how to film my life, Yeah. And, when the first time the guy came over, was no picnic for him. Because, he asked why I'm filming. I go, I just film everything. And then he'd ignore the camera. But now we're upstairs and he sees, I was dating Eleanor Kerrigan at the time. And that was like I'd keep this like 8x10 of her in this bathing suit that she hated herself in, but I liked it. And the guy looks at the picture and I go like, what are you looking at? And he go, oh no, just, I go, no. You weren't looking at the windows, you were looking at the picture. So this was his first time there. Yeah. So now the second time this guy comes over, like, everybody's got a camera. I'm talking Max, Dylan, I got a camera. We had the plan, like the minute he walks in, Eleanor, you take my camera, so I hug this guy and I don't let him go. Okay? That was the window man, but the plumber comes over and it's just me and Wheels. Okay? So the guy comes into the kitchen and immediately I look at Wheels and I go, wait, you don't offer the guy something to drink? And Wheels is just looking at me, and we call it like a standoff. It's not a stare down. We're just looking at each other, and he goes, no, but I would ask him. And the guy's going, well, no, I'm fine. I just want to fix your problem. I'm like looking at Wheels going, all right. He wants to fix the problem, Wheels. So now we start going through my bedroom, and as the guy's walking through the bedroom to go to the bathroom, I go, wait a minute. I go, look at the mattress I got. It's unbelievable, right? And he's like, yeah. I go, no, I'm not. This mattress is beyond belief. It really. I go, sit on the bed. And he's going, what? No, it looks like I go, sit on the bed. I'm tired. I want bullshit. I got no reason to lie to you. So the guy sits on the bed real quick and I go, sit on the bed. I'm telling you, lay down. I want you to feel this thing. And then I dive next to him. And the guy, and why is it being filmed? And then as he's trying to fix the toilet, me and Wheels are leaning over this guy, and every 3 seconds I'm going, look at me. And he's looking, and I go, what's the problem? But we just love saying, look at me, because he would look every time, and I'd get it on film. And then the next day when he's fixing the shower, I'm having him sing about my friend Happy Face, who's out there today, my security guy. Instead of, the song, Baby Face, you got the cutest look. So I get this guy to sing about Happy Face. And he's changing a shower, the head of a shower, singing, Happy Face, you got the cute, like I suck him into my world, and nothing makes me happier. And it just so happens that that bed that I thought was a great mattress, I wound up not liking it, right? So I have this other comic, Steve Simone, call the guy that we bought the bed from. So he comes over the house. So what I did, I lay on the bed and I take one of my arms out of I was wearing a thermal, and I put it behind my back and I leave, I'm sort of armless. Like I have one arm, you know, and the guy walks in the bedroom and he sees like this thing hanging over the bed. I'm missing an arm, you know, and he goes, you're not happy with the mattress? I go, yeah, it messed up my arm. You know, I got like a disease from the mattress. So you got to get it out of here. And Steve just loses it. He's now rolling on the floor, banging his head on the wall. And we did it just for the laugh. He goes, did you guys do this just to get me off a golf course? I go, basically. Or else I'll go I went into the same store with that. You know Steve Simone?
No.
All right, so I go into it was like a Best Buy, but it wasn't Best Buy. And Steve is, I don't know, 30 at the time, 30-year-old man. And I come in to buy some TVs for my house, and I come over to the salesman, and I go, listen, I promised my boy a Walkman if he behaves himself, so maybe you could throw that in. I go, he's a nice kid. And he's looking at a 30-year-old man with a beard, you know, and he's going, where's your kid? I go, he's over here. Don't embarrass him. You know what I mean? He's a kid, you know. Things like that. And the guy gave him the Walkman. He gave him the Shockwave Walkman. Yeah, I love that. And then on the way out of the store, because I love to steal stuff, I saw this incredible, like this titanium CD rack. So I just pick it up. I figured, you know, I'm paying them thousands of dollars. It's near the door. It's a giveaway, you know. And the salesman goes, what are you doing with that CD rack? I just look at him. I go, it's handled. Talk to him. And we leave. Yeah. We just leave. There's nothing more fun than stealing. You know, when I get it. You know, like the Bible and all that with the rules. Yeah. You know, and when for, you know, thou shalt not steal. And I'll always think, like, yeah, but when they wrote it, what was there to steal? There was nothing. Yeah. What am I going to take a mountain? Yeah. You know what I mean? It was an easy rule. You know, thou shalt not, like, bang your friend's wife, or whatever they wrote to basically say, don't fuck your friend's wife. I go, well, back then, who you want to bang? You know what I mean? Today you go over your friend's house. His wife answers the door. There she is, and the zebra-looking top, the bikini with the oil dripping off her fucking cow tits. It's like you got no choice. Yeah. Just don't tell your friend. What are you gonna do?
That's the easiest part.
You know, years ago they dressed like you didn't see nothing. Today it's how much of this I'm gonna take.
Well, on your show, you have
people are going, bangs his friends' wives. He's an awful, but that's why it's about comedy. It's about making you laugh. That's all.
But he does steal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, I've never paid for anything in 7-Eleven. I don't believe in that. But I go by the slogan, thank heaven it's 7-Eleven.
Thank heaven.
Because everything's free.
On the show, you got Milkshake, who's... Is that based on a real guy, or is it all the guys?
Originally, I wanted it to be based off of Michael Wheels Parisi, but they wrote the character different. But it's a blend of just oddball people that I'm friends with. Yeah. And Kevin plays it incredible.
It's hilarious.
Like, I never know where he's coming from in a scene. It's beautiful.
One of my favorite things is if you get mad at someone, he's mad at him immediately.
Exactly.
That cracks me up every single time. It's just like living through someone else's emotions.
But he's also a method actor, this guy. So, one day on the set, I thought we were actually filming, and he goes, I thought he's ad-libbing, he goes, you really gotta leave me alone, you're annoying me now, And I'm looking around, I'm going, they're not filming anything now. Like, why would he open his mouth to me? Because I get angry quick. Yeah. So later on in the day, I said to him, I go, I got to ask you something, like when you said that to me, like, what did you mean? And he goes, no, you kept telling me to do something? And I go, yeah. So why not just do it? Why would you take that kind of chance? You know, I'm a vicious animal in certain ways. And we just started laughing because I loved him for it.
Right.
You know, because you need actors that could really like bang off of you and play off of you.
Sure.
You know, and he can do that. And Brad Morris is like a master at improv, you know, and, you know, and yeah, this show to work with like Adrian Brody.
That was hysterical.
I mean, just these are method actors. It's like an honor to work with them. I can't believe it.
Brody comes on to learn masculinity.
Don't tell him everything.
I'm just going to say this, right? And it'll be a very small part of it. Learn masculinity from Dice. And then what happens is, and I'll just...
It's a problem.
Yeah,
it becomes... But everything in my life becomes a problem.
It is so damn funny, though. You know, I read a thing the other day. Eric Bogosian, the great writer...
I love him.
Director, this actor, everything about him, was talking about you on vinyl and saying that he had spliced all your scenes together because he thought it was genius. And I
think he's genius.
Well, he is. He's an absolute genius. But to know that somebody that talented is talking about you that way.
No, and I'm a fan of Eric, and you know, he's incredible. So what am I going to debate him on him saying I'm really good?
But that's what I'm saying. That's the pocket that you found yourself in this.
And that's the part where I get shy about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I do look up to guys like him, and you know, and I watch talk radio 1,000 times,
a million times, right?
I couldn't believe the dialogue that he had to learn through that. And I'm going, how do you do that shit? How do you learn 20 pages at a clip? You know, but when I did this series, you know, it's a scripted series, and we shot it quickly, and it was the one thing I was never able to do with acting. Just, what do you call it again when you can memorize like a lot of things, like quick?
Anybody know?
Photogenic memory.
Okay,
and I developed it with the series because I'm going, I'm not going to let this fail. So and we were shooting like 17 pages a day. It was ridiculous. And so, I'd go home at night. I'd just go right to sleep so I could get to the set early and start learning the new scenes. And it just, all of a sudden, would just go in my head, and it's something I was never able to do before this show. But I was like, no, this is a winner. These writers are the best, and I wasn't going to let them down. That's how I felt.
Dude, it's so damn funny. It's seriously.
Did you see a lot of it?
I saw 6 episodes, so that's.
I didn't see 6.
Here's the thing.
Everybody else is seeing what I don't know. I don't know how to email. You know that? I get some pretty heavy emails, and I look at all the things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do it. And Valerie will go, let me show you. I go, I don't get the patience. Just do it for me.
Right.
I can't email.
So you haven't seen all of the episodes? No. Well, dude, I can tell you.
I've seen 2.
Yeah.
And I loved them. I saw the Adrian one.
It's hilarious. The one with your kids is...
I didn't see that one
hilarious.
Yet.
The getting the old boys back together.
Didn't
hilarious.
See that.
Oh, you're missing out on some good shit, Dice.
Well, I just want to see it as it airs.
Right.
And Showtime, this is the first show they're going to put up on internet. It is. When does it air? Sunday. This Sunday,
but
right?
they're going to drop all 6, right?
All 6 if people want to like binge watch on this thing.
Yeah. I'd say I binge watched and
I wouldn't even know how to get to it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to tune it in like.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm fucked up with that stuff. Remotes still baffle me.
Yeah. But I saw your Instagram, you and Giamatti flew in together.
The greatest, because I am a giant fan of his and Billions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm way sucked into that show. And he, I told him, when you meet someone you like, I have no problem telling him how I followed that career. But the coolest guy, and he said to me, he goes, I've never asked one performer, one actor for a picture. And we're on the plane. So now we're sitting there just doing a photo shoot. Because, what do you think? You're just going to get a picture? I want a picture. I go, I'm a fan of your show. I like your show,
Yeah.
And, but just the nicest guy. So, we're going to hang out.
That's really cool, though, right?
Like he might, actually become someone I could call 1 a.m. You know what I mean? Because that's when I first call everybody.
I hear that from people.
Do you know how angry I get when I call a friend at 11, 12, 1 and they don't pick up? I stop being their friend.
That's it.
Like Wheels will tell me, he'll go, you know something? You could be friends with somebody for 25 years and they do one thing where you feel they're stabbing you in the back and they never hear from you again. I go, yeah, but how funny is that? I go, you might be next. Who knows? But yeah, I first get on the phone 1 in the morning because I do, I'm doing a residency at the Laugh Factory in Vegas at the Tropicana, so I've been there for a while. And so, I do a 10 o'clock show, so by the time I get home, it's 1:30, and I want to talk to my friends, so I start making calls. And if Wheels goes, I'll be up, I go, well, don't tell me you're going to be up and then not pick up the phone because it could end the relationship. I just I'll call Jameson, 3 in the morning. What are you doing? He goes, well, what do you think? What do you think could be going on at this hour? And I go, what are you getting old on me? You're a comic. You came into comedy so you don't have to work, right? You're supposed to be up and on the phone at these hours. Goes, you are. That's what you do. But Florentine could just pick up like it's 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Could be 3 in the morning. He'll just pick it up.
You got to be careful with him. You'll end up on one of his fucking albums too.
Yeah, that's okay too.
Yeah.
I love those albums.
Those things are amazing.
But see, that's why we're friends because they love to do things to people also to freak them out.
Yeah.
And that's why they do those telemarketer albums. They're phenomenal.
They're funny as hell.
I think you just put out another one.
Yeah, they did.
Hysterical.
Yeah.
You know what I did with him? We go over to Orange Julius, right? We're in Vegas.
Yeah.
So, they have little testers, of different flavors. So Florentine, takes one and it was it was like a Chinese guy behind the counter that owns the place. So it's a little cup with Orange Julius. So he just takes it. Guy's nice to him. He gives it, just puts it, give me another one. And the guy looks at him. He's like, all right, well, you could have this. More. And the guy goes, well, you had 2. And he's going, more. Just give me more. I want more. Can I get a bigger cup? And I start getting, and it's hard to make me uncomfortable, because I'll do anything. But I'm even looking like, I don't want this to break out into some kind of physical thing. Because I go through that a lot. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't need any more fights.
Right.
And yeah, all the time there's a problem. Because I'm not reclusive, No. My office is like a Starbucks. So there's always there's going to be aggravation.
But this is now material for your new show, too, for Dice, right?
Yeah.
You could just write this kind of stuff
I just
forever.
text when things happen to Scott Armstrong.
Yeah.
I just go, you're not going to believe this one. This guy tried to pick me up. I grabbed him by his throat. I wasn't allowed out to sell T-shirts for 3 months because of that. Yeah, a lot of things like that go on, some dangerous stuff. And I don't like that. I don't like to get physical if I don't have to. But now... now I tell my kids, I go, you're on the show now. So you can't even protect me. No. Because I had a thing a few weeks ago. I'm just at a Starbucks, just trying. And I was with this director, Scott Montoya, who did my album Indestructible. He does 1 million comedy specials. It's amazing. So now, as we're talking, here comes this kid. He couldn't have been more than 28 on a skateboard, and he wants to bum a cigarette. I give him the cigarette, take care, And now Scott leaves, and I wear the big headphones. I don't believe in little headphones.
Yeah.
I just feel they're going nowhere. That's why, big fucking headphones so people just stay away. So I'm on the phone talking to my son Dylan, and here comes the guy with the skateboard again. I go, I moved to Haggard. I go, pal, I'm on a business call. So he just decides he's going to sit with me, and I'm like, why? And I'm like, all right, listen, you really, you got to get up and walk away. Didn't your parents ever teach you don't just hang out with strangers? And he goes, well, I'm not really a fan. And I go, I never mentioned who I am or being a fan. I said, but you need to walk away from my table or there's going to be a definite problem here, And at that moment, he goes, so what, are you going to have some big guy kick the crap out of me? And all of a sudden, my son, who was listening, knowing that this could escalate, comes flying up on the sidewalk in his Bronco. Because Dylan's built out. You know, he's 21, and he's not looking for a problem, but he's not going to let his father get in fights with guys like a few years older than him. And here comes I go, all right, take it easy. I'm like calming him down. You know, I'm calming my son down. I go, look, pal. I go, look how nice it is today, right? It's nice and sunny. 2 things are happening. You're either going to jail or just go to another table and enjoy the fucking day. Please, I'm begging you, walk away. But they're like fucking retarded, these guys. And I know that's not a politically correct word, but there are certain people that are just fucking retarded, that don't know a fucking thing. They cross the street, they're 30 years old, they don't know to look 2 ways. Who walks off a fucking curb and doesn't look to that right and left? Who the fuck, who walks over and sits with a stranger that wants to choke him to death within 10 seconds? There are just certain rules.
You know, once a episode of Dice, you're asking somebody to walk away.
But that's where they get that stuff in the series with the people that come over. And I meet some of the coolest people.
Yeah.
I get guys coming over to me that if a guy approaches me the right way, next thing you know, I buy him a cup of coffee and we're hanging out for an hour.
Sure.
You know, it's the guy that walks over and goes, get up, I want a picture. Oh, really? Is this where we are? You know, because I've had my head bashed in.
Yeah.
On TV and everything.
Your life.
No, but I'm saying I've been through it.
But that's the thing, your life.
Fuck it, they don't even make these hard anymore.
Your life is not that different from your TV show, which is an amazing thing.
That's why they call it a hybrid, which I really don't know what that means, actually.
Well, I know.
What does hybrid mean?
Hybrid means it's a little of both. Is that it? A combination? Yeah. So
came up with that fucking word. Yeah. That's what I mean. Words like I'll Google it. Somebody says that to me, I'm not their friend anymore.
That different from your TV show, which is an amazing thing.
That's why they call it a hybrid, which I really don't know what that means, actually.
Well, I know.
What does hybrid mean?
Hybrid means it's a little of both. Is that it? A combination? Yeah. So
came up with that fucking word. That's what I mean. Words like I'll Google it. Somebody says that to me, I'm not their friend anymore. Google. Because nerds invented the whole computer world.
Right.
So the only way they could get back at the people that knocked the books out of their head in high school is come up with these words. You know, I know some of the toughest guys you'd ever want to meet, and they say things like, you know, I'm going to go home and Google it. I can't be your friend no more.
That's it.
You said Google. You tweet.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're done with them at that point.
Yeah, Twitter.
Not going to do it.
Say that word.
Just say
I'll
Twitter.
do it,
but
I can't, you know.
What do you call it instead?
Facebook. How about fuck you? You know, we're all connected. Why? Why do I got to hear from somebody at 7?
Yeah.
Why do I want to hear from girls now that tell me they liked me in high school, and then they send a picture and they look like a Mack fucking truck now? I go, wow, what a prize. I'm winning. You know.
Well, I started this off as a good time to be Dice, and it is amazing. I know you don't like to take compliments on the acting, but you're killing it, my friend. And congratulations.
And I appreciate you having me on. We said we were going to do the part 2.
Yeah.
And I bragged about our first interview. You're one of the best
thank you
that
so
ever
much.
interviewed me.
And it's always great. We'll do this again for part 3. Let's see where, maybe you'll go out of swimming after this.
No,
who knows? When? 2 weeks from Thursday. 2 weeks from Thursday, everybody. Guys, play!
Thank you.
You're the best, buddy. So fucking funny.
Thank you.
Dice, Andrew Dice Clay, Unmasked, just a ton of fun. This is a way for you to win. Just be a first responder and tweet to
@TheRealDiceClay, and you have a chance to win The Filthy Truth, signed by Andrew Dice Clay, his book, and a cigarette that I was able to procure from Andrew Dice Clay.
We come full circle from today's annoyingness.
Back to
You
Procure.
are turning into Dan.
Yeah, we said we wanted Dan to follow you, not you to follow Dan. That's not how this goes.
But I forgot, Dopehead Zelig is going to become who's ever he's around.
It's a Benson Hedges Light 100.
And you get a signed book by the Dice Man.
The Filthy Truth, signed by Andrew Dice Clay. All you have to do is tweet at The Real Dice Clay and be your first responder.
And don't go asking for the book or asking for the cigarette.
Yeah.
Tweet something nice, something
cool.
funny, something cool.
Be cool.
Be cool forever.
Be cool. That's all we ask. That's all I've ever asked of any of you.
That's all I've ever asked of my Lord. Be cool, dude. Don't get so crazy. We don't need a book trying to tell us whether we're tight or not. We tight. One more time, Chris. Tell people how they can win.
Be a first responder. Tweet at The Real Dice Clay, and you have a chance to win Andrew Dice Clay's book, The Filthy Truth, signed by Andrew Dice Clay, and a Benson Hedges that was in Andrew Dice Clay's mouth during that Unmasked.
Chris, it sounds like you need a rest. Is that right?
Are you sleepy?
No, I'm good. I
Are
had a
you-
good
Well, do you
time.
hear yourself talk?
I hear some of the missteps that I make that come out of my mouth.
Are you tired, little one? Are you tired?
I had a moment. I'm on a weird sleep schedule.
Earlier today, when Gail was yelling at me, she turned and gave a couple shots to Chris, and that was great. And I just saw him do this.
I yelled at no one.
Oh,
Really? Oh, that was a fucking tirade.
Yeah.
So I'll throw that out there.
Fair enough. I'll take it.
Somebody's got a short fuse, quick temper.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gail.
You know what we call you, right?
No, I didn't know.
Flash paper.
Here,
Goes
Mons.
up quick.
Flash paper here yet?
Flash paper, flash paper. Hope she's not too angry. Chris, this should be more about you doing. And you know what? Take, if you've got a comb, and try to get some of that white junk off that furry tongue, and just talk to people as if they were humans.
You want to be a first responder and tweet at The Real Dice Clay because you have a chance to win Andrew Dice Clay's book, The Filthy Truth, signed by Andrew Dice Clay, and a Benson Hedges, his cigarette. You get to win a Andrew Dice Clay cigarette.
By the way, during the show today, and this is never going to happen again, I say, yeah, put on the ball game to the guys. So as they're working, they can check out the ball game.
Mm-hmm.
Vito has been taking a chair and sitting it in front of the TV and watching it as if he's back at home in Sicily.
No more baseball, people. That's
See,
it.
That's not what you do. That's the problem. That's why you're no longer the executive producer.
Yeah. This is why you can't manage.
You're not the executive producer. You're the lone wolf special projects producer.
Yeah.
I like special projects.
Yes, we know. So that's why you don't yell out what when I say you're not the executive producer.
Because you're a special boy. That's why.
And that's why Gail said today, I'm not like Chris. It's just not easy for me to throw those two under the bus.
Look, I have good boy magic. and that's
I
what
said
wanna
you
point
let
out.
them hang out to dry.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
how
you
I
did.
said.
Yeah, you
Same
did.
thing.
Well, not really. I mean, thrown under the bus, you got a giant bus running over you.
Right.
But hanging out to dry,
They're just a little dry.
you're going to get rid of some of the moisture. Chris, plug it one more time.
Be a first responder. Tweet at The Real Dice Clay. You have a chance to win The Filthy Truth, Dice's book, signed by Andrew Dice Clay, and really one of a kind, a Andrew Dice Clay cigarette.
There is literally no dollar amount that you could put on this.
I wouldn't
This
even
is
try.
Perfect for a Dice Clay fan. If you want to win it for yourself or for a friend, at The Real Dice Clay, be a first responder. Tweet. That's it for us. Gail, I think you should say goodbye for the week. You should throw it to the big song.
We'll see you all again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!